Hello and welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 53 for February 10th, 2013. My name's Tony and I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcasters Mark and Jason.
Booyah!
I'm all the way over here.
1 year ago, I was sitting at a table very much like this,
Yes.
except slightly less wobbly.
Yes, it is our 1 year anniversary extravaganza.
You really need to stop busting my balls about the
Look how wobbly it is!
Okay. And today we actually brought many special guests. We're joined by...
I don't know these people.
We're joined by quite a few people throughout the course of the 1 year that have joined us at one point or another. Directly to my right, we got Mas.
I'm sure they care that I'm to your right.
Whatever. It's to give them mental visuals.
They're trying to make... Set a clock in your head and you gotta put everyone
Just
there.
think of it. We got this big dildo microphone in the middle of this table, and there's 7 guys, all within 2 feet of it,
All staring
Trying
at
to
us.
get their face as close to as they can.
Yeah.
The gentleman you just heard, you guys met him, what was it, a month and a half or so ago? We got Matt returning.
Hey.
Next to him, we got from one of the earliest episodes we ever made. I think episode 2 or 3 you were on?
And the Vita.
The VitaCast, yeah. We have Tyler returning, so some of our longtime fans will remember him.
Hello.
And next to him, the illustrious
Shut up.
Angry Andy.
He flew in just for this.
Yes, I did.
We promised we'd get him on for the 1 year.
Where are you flying in from?
None of your business.
Undisclosed location.
Parts unknown.
Black site.
So we're going to just kick the show off. We're going to skip the round table because that would take forever today. There's far too many people.
But how do they know?
We'll catch them up next week.
I bought a 3DS, that's about it.
You put it on Facebook already.
Damn it! Why are you looking at me?
Because you're news.
News? Alright. Sexy news of the 1 years. Okay, I guess I was going to come up with something else clever with that and it never came, so moving on. The Wii U is actually going to get its first, I guess, bundle pack with Zombie U for $390. It comes out February 17th, actually.
It's actually already out there in UK. Well,
Yeah.
the Zombie
I believe
bundle.
that, wasn't that like almost launch it came out?
Yeah, that was launched.
It was launch. Okay, yeah.
Take that, North America.
Yeah.
I'm curious if I get half points for this, because this was kind of one of my guesses for this year.
No.
What was your...
A new bundle, but I said it'd be priced the same.
you got fucked by $10.
This comes, I think, with. I think this
That's
comes.
usually Tony's case.
Yeah.
I think this comes with Nintendo Land.
Comes with Nintendo Land.
Yeah,
with
comes
Zombie
Nintendo
U,
Land,
with
Zombie
a
U.
Pro Controller as well.
Yes, Pro Controller as well.
So-
A digital version of Nintendo Land.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Digital version.
Well, there goes half your hard drive space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus the update will take up the other half, won't it? You're screwed. You already have to...
Hey,
You can't even save Zombie U.
Yeah, just enough room for a save file.
yeah, I was
Hopefully.
gonna say, when are they gonna give an upgrade hard drive size now? I mean, I know they have the externals out there.
They had
already.
one out. Or
Yeah,
the original
yeah.
one, yeah.
They have an official... It's not... It's who makes it, Matt? Is it
PDP.
Matt's or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah.
Okay, can't you plug in any like 1 terabyte hard drive and
You
it'll
could,
work?
yeah.
Okay, so
You
I think they're
could.
expecting
It's
that.
hard to explain that to a mother, though.
You're limited. You're limited to 2... I think you're limited to 2 terabytes, like the PS3.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's well enough.
Oh no. Only 2 terabytes.
They should come out.
How
with
dare you?
Well, if it went NTFS, they could have went unlimited, but I think that...
They're
'cause-
Fat 32.
Well, no, the PS3 is. That's why it's limited to 2 terabytes. I don't know
Yeah.
what the Wii U went. I just
I don't
heard
know
it's
either.
limited. I don't know. But 2 terabytes,
Yeah,
that's a
nerdy
lot of room.
stuff.
It's a lot of room.
You can just get multiple 2 terabyte
Yeah.
hard drives and
There you
plug
go.
and unplug.
And a marker and write what you have on the side of it.
Exactly.
in a full list.
Yes. Like
Full
the old
list of 2
PS1 memory
terabytes.
cards with the little stickers.
No, I like it.
Coolio. The Fallout developer is pitching a new idea for a Star Wars RPG, much like the KOTOR, which is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. The RPG is set between episode 3 and 4. So it would kind of fill in the story between all those fun moments of Star Wars.
In between Fallout 4?
No, this is Star Wars.
Star
This
Wars.
is a Fallout.
The Fallout
this
developer.
Is, yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. The developer
Come on,
of Fallout
Stick with it, jeez.
is looking to do a
What is
Star
this?
Wars RPG.
What is this, your first
So they're
episode?
bridging the
God.
gap between suck and awesome.
Yeah. So you get a mediocre game, I believe, right? Yes.
Hey, sounds about right.
Yes. So that's kind of cool. I guess this is probably one of the bigger stories of the week in terms of people being pissed off. Rayman Legends was delayed.
Wait, people on the internet got upset over something?
They did.
How dare they?
They were boycotting some people are boycotting any third-party game for the rest of their life, is what I was reading.
And
So they
mom-
don't want to play
Yep.
99% of
Games
games
yeah.
anymore?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only thing that people on the internet boycott is showers, okay?
Well, the biggest problem here seems that Ubisoft, they, at least this is what I got of it. The Wii U version is ready.
Yeah.
They've been working overtime to get it up. They could put it out at the end of the month. I think they're worried that 6 months down the line, if they throw a 360 and a PS3 version, maybe even the next gen version, it would get like overshadowed and viewed as like a port, and they didn't want that to happen. So thus they're like, all right, we'll just put them out all at the same time. Delayed it 6 months, and it's coming out in September.
I think they look at the size of the Wii U install base, and it's,
Exactly,
it's the
yeah.
same problem the Vita's running into right now. Nobody wants to. You can't make a third parties especially can't focus something on something with less than 5 million units out there. Even if you have a ridiculous attach rate, you're not going to sell that many units.
Well,
but
right.
if you port to the PS3 and the Xbox, you open yourself up to another 155 million people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
I want to state for the record, we have 1/3 of all Vita owners in this room right now.
it's true. It's true. Three of us have Vitas. That's pretty
Wow.
much- that's the entire United States sales are in this room.
But any of you guys import yours? Or? No. But I was looking at Rayman Origins. It actually sold best on the 360,
Yeah.
and then next best on the PS3, and third best on the Wii. So that might have something to do with it. And Rayman has historically been a Sony franchise. I know some
where
of
it
them
started, yeah.
some of them were on the Nintendo 64, but I think all of them have been on PlayStation. And I think Origins was the first one Microsoft ever saw. I'm not,
Yeah, I
maybe,
don't-
maybe some of the more.
Yeah, I don't think there was a
I
single
can't, I
one
can't
on
think
regular
of,
Xbox.
of another one.
They have any of the Raving Rapids,
Well, yeah, but that's a spin-off.
like the Kinect?
Yeah.
version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even before that, but that's still, a spin-off of
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
I guess technically.
I'm sure all those Microsoft fans who love the Raving Rapids Kinect.
Hey,
Rayman.
before the Kinect, the Raving Rabbids games were actually kind of fun. Before the Kinect.
On the Wii, yeah.
Yes, I've played them.
I don't know. People are a little too upset over a third party. I get it if it's something that was exclusive that lost exclusivity. But like we're saying, Rayman was already multi-platform. There's it'd be different if like all of a sudden they're like, oh, Gears of War is just we're gonna stop the 360 version. We're gonna delay it 6 months, and now we're giving that to everybody. Okay, people could get a little upset about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rayman was always multi-platform.
So what you're trying to say is everybody loves Rayman.
we got jokes. We got jokes.
Saving that for 1 year.
a lot of Nintendo fans are also upset because Rayman was originally supposed to be an exclusive launch title.
Yeah.
Then got delayed 4 months after launch. Now it's not even exclusive, nor is it in the launch window. So it's like they were promised goods that are not being delivered. But
Can you imagine if Bayonetta 2 decides to go like
Oh
this?
my god.
that one's published by Nintendo, though.
Yeah, I know. The only reason it even is existing is because Nintendo financed
I think the biggest thing is the financials, though, for Ubisoft. Just the fact that it didn't take long for Rayman Origins to drop to like what is it now, $20.
It was
Yeah.
It went on sale Black Friday
Yeah.
the year that I worked there for $30.
Right.
Because that's when you picked it
It
up.
took like no time. So if they release it for $60 on Wii U now, by the time it goes out to the other systems, it'll drop to like $30. And
Yeah.
then what are they going to do? Charge you $60 for a game that's on the other system is $30?
Yeah.
which is what the Wii U tried to do with Batman Arkham City.
Yeah, I bought it.
That's because you're a big Batman.
I'm a sucker. Yeah,
I hit my money.
exactly. Yeah.
My wall.
All you got to do is put the ban on it. Fuck.
Yeah. From else, what I was reading is a lot of people, another argument was that they haven't had a release yet since basically launch. So other people were bored because they want something else, I guess. That was other forum comments that I was looking
Yeah, there
at.
hasn't been anything on the Wii U since launch.
Yeah.
Other than crap.
Sounds like every
Yeah.
other big launch in the past, like
Yeah, I mean, every system is that
years.
way.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. It's just people
Why do we
are
play
complaining because they
now?
can. Yeah, people are complaining because they can. Anyway, moving on to a very not sexy story. With no big surprise, the biggest release of next year was announced. New COD 2013. Whatever.
Woohoo!
Call
Call
of
of
Duty.
Duty for life!
Call
Get
of
out.
Duty hit you. Call of Duty 5?
I hope so, because people are calling this like Call of Duty 9. It's like, no, Call of Duty 5's still not out. Never
Yeah.
has been.
They dropped the numbering system to stop confusing people. I remember
Modern
that.
Warfare
it's like
before.
Assassin's Creed.
These are all technically spin-offs.
Yeah, I know.
Call
Yeah,
of
it's
Duty
like- it's
Brotherhood,
like what happened.
Revelation.
I don't know how they're spin-offs of 4, though, because 4 was in modern day and they went back to Vietnam.
It's not really 5. I mean,
Yeah.
Tony's just being...
It's like Resident Evil. It's not 6. It's 16.
I'm trying to establish a timeline.
Yeah. Just makes things more confusing. Oh, and actually, I did find out something awesome about the series. Remember we talked about Captain Price a few weeks ago, I guess?
Yeah.
During the tournament?
All right, so Captain Price in the new games is actually the son of Captain Price from Call of Duty 1 on PC.
That's what I said.
Oh.
He was Price's
They actually-
descendants.
That's
Yeah.
some Legend of Zelda shit right there, man.
Yeah, I know. They actually went through. I did a 5 facts from Rooster Teeth, and they actually found that fact that is actually it's his grandfather.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I figured.
yeah, there you go.
That's
Confirmed
some
stuff.
Inglorious Bastards Pulp Fiction shit going on there, too. You know?
Here's a question for you guys. Do you think they will make separate games of Call of Duty 9, 11, 13, whatever we're at?
16.
Modern Warfare 4? Are they going to make a separate one for the 720 and PS4?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wait.
It's going to be made
Yeah, that's
for
what
the
I
720 and PS4, and it's going to get ported down.
Yeah.
You think ported down?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be made for the 360 and then just released with the logo.
See, now that's what I was
Shiny
saying.
graphics.
I was saying
Yeah.
originally, back to our predictions, was that Call of Duty was going to have start to decline because they weren't going to put out something to showcase the new system, that it was going to be a dumbed-down version of what the console could do. It's going to be essentially 360 version upscaled.
So I don't know. I think they're going to develop for the new gen as a selling point, and people that aren't ready to bite yet will get the same game. You're not even going to notice if you're on the 360 because it'll just look like a 360 game. They're not. It's not going to look like, oh, this is a crappy 720 port.
Yeah.
You're going to have no idea. It's just going to look like what you're used to. But I also think they're all going to talk on the same server. So I think people on the PS4 will be playing against people on the PS3. I think it's all going to be
Would it?
tied in the same.
As
whatever.
long as our one prediction from last week doesn't come to pass and they don't do something new with the controller. Because if they get fancy with the controller, then that's going to give an advantage.
I think it's a lot of rumors, and I think they're secondary controllers, but that's another issue.
Speaking of, you guys seen the pictures from the new one or thoughts of the new one?
concept art.
Yeah.
with the
What,
touch,
the controller or
touchpad,
the
yeah.
console?
You're talking about for
Controller.
the Sony one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
That share thing is interesting, but it applies to like 5% of gamers.
Yeah.
Most gamers don't care. They don't want to upload 15 minutes to anything. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever.
They
I'm
have
sticking
YouTube.
by my. They should just use a modified PlayStation Vita as the controller for the PS4.
That's actually what Tyler was saying. They had a picture come out. It basically looked like the Vita touchpad on the back. It looks like that on the
that's
top
our
of the
prediction.
controller.
Like that high
It looks
five.
like that on the
On
controller.
the front of the
'Cause it's
controller,
touch-
and then
yeah.
the controller itself is a little smoother,
No, I'd
but it
say
looks just like the past controllers.
you make the controller a portable system,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you don't need the screen, and it has a built-in screen. Immediately, the Vita becomes relevant.
It's got a point, which we discussed. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a pack-in with the PS4, just to move these things.
that'd be cool.
They'll have like 2 bundle prices. It'll be ridiculously cheap to get a Vita.
So it's the basic idea of what like the Ouya controller is, where it's got that little touch sensitive part on the front of the controller.
The Ouya has one of those?
Yeah. So you can play like Angry Birds and stuff.
I'm unaware of this.
Yeah, it does.
I showed you the picture
Yeah.
today.
See,
Yeah!
if you put in your $100, you would have gotten the update saying that here's what the new controller
I'm
looks
not worried
like.
about it, Mark.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with UPS.
Way to
We've gone over
not
this many times.
When they steal your shit.
Yeah, so Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict that they don't make a separate version. That's just me.
No, I think it's the
and
same.
they won't be cross-playable. I don't.
You don't think so?
Otherwise,
No, I
you're
don't
not
think
gonna
so
be able-
either.
I just think Xbox Live is Xbox Live. Why would they like single out the...
Well, they did that with from Xbox to 360.
Yeah,
They
Yeah, but
singled
back
it
then
out.
the online play was in its infancy.
It's
on
true,
consoles.
but if you keep the internet, if you keep it on the same thing, why would people want to upgrade it when they can
Yeah,
still
I don't think they're
play
gonna
with
do
the
that.
other people?
You don't think so?
They want
No,
money.
they'd have to split it.
They're
Angry Andy, anything to add to Call of Duty since you are a resident Call of Duty player?
After what they did kind of with like some of the stuff with Black Ops 2, I wouldn't be surprised if they take some shortcuts.
Okay. Cool.
Well, they're going to either have to be the same game on both consoles, then they can cross-play them. Sort of like Halo 2, you could play it on the 360.
Or PC.
Yeah, but
Shadowrun was PC to 360.
you
Yeah,
can play
that's
it
true.
over Xbox Live.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same game for that to work. I don't think if they redo the architecture of the game and all the AI and all the upgrades,
Yeah.
I can't see it playing with the old system. But that's
Just the last point I want to make on that. I still think it can because when the consoles first come out, we all know that when it's early hardware, it's not even touching what the hardware can do. So I don't think it's like that far fetched to just have a kind of dumbed down version of it that'll work on both, or at least for the first year. Then when Call of Duty 2015 comes out, it'll be a different story.
Black Ops 3, World of War 2.
Yeah, World at War 2.
Yeah.
Look, Call of Duty 19.
Worlds at War.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
Now
plural
we go
that
to
shit.
now in space.
Call of Duties.
And then time travel.
Plural.
Come on.
And then time travel. There you go.
Then it's Terminator.
Yes. Moving on to a next, I guess, sexy story, sad story, sexy sad story. The now bankrupt Atari is actually getting $2 million extra in financing. I know last month they filed for bankruptcy. I don't know if anyone read into this more, but it's supposed to kind of hold them off until they can get some mobile games up and some tablet stuff.
Oh, thank
to
God.
sell. That's what they're going with.
Can't wait.
They
I
want
hope
the
they
$2
make some
million.
Kinect games.
No, they're out of consoles. They said they're going mobile and tablet right now.
That's what I was saying. The crap I don't care
yeah,
about.
Yeah.
Who's this? I was busy updating our
Atari.
Facebook.
It's Atari.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
No,
no.
no.
No,
Anybody?
okay.
No huge loss.
News lost. All right, cool. Ouya news. It's supposed to be a yearly release cycle on it currently.
Oh no!
This is according to the Ouya CEO Julie Ehrman. So
Yeah.
now you get to buy one each year.
Well, I think this is gonna be good and bad. I mean,
Because now they're gonna take things away just to put them in from next year's bundle.
the leaks that are... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think that the big maker or breaker is going to be when they make the announcement for the second one. Because, like, if they make the announcement, like, right after the first one comes out, a lot of people are going to skip it. Because especially if, what I'm thinking is they're going to put the Tegra 4 in it, because it looks freaking incredible.
Yeah, Tegra 4 Series.
Oh, my God. Like, I mean, you've seen the Shield and everything. You know, hey, you can now stream, PC games right direct to your little handheld. Yeah, right there.
Well, the Tegra 3 is what's coming in the first one, and people are saying it's like the early leaks that are coming out from people that are actually developing for it are calling it awesome. They're just saying it's a little underpowered for what's out.
Right.
But I don't think people
for
are
the price point-
expecting. Yeah, I don't.
For
I think,
$100, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a year on it, and it'll probably
That's a special
fall into the
edition
$100
game.
price.
well,
range.
that's their plan. Is they always wanted to keep it at $100, so the new tech will drop.
Yeah.
So they'll always be a couple years
Yeah,
behind.
no, it's smart.
But they'll always keep it at $100.
Yeah.
And it'll be a cheap upgrade.
Yeah.
So.
Right. The issue being that once you get the console, it's going to have no value, basically, is what I'm thinking. So, like, you won't ever be able to sell it. So if you end up getting, like, 3 or 4 of these Ouyas, you're just going to have them, like, stacking up.
Yeah,
I mean, you
maybe,
can still-
maybe not.
You can still sell them for me,
You
like,
probably get rid of $20.
yeah,
maybe. Someone will
20,
buy
They'll have
it.
some kind of trade
50 at the
upgrade.
most, maybe. Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if they're going to trade it. I was just saying, like, online, you'd probably still be able to get something.
Oh,
from
yeah.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
people still like trade Game Boy Advances and shit.
Yeah, that would be
You
my
know what
only
I mean?
worry,
Like,
is that, I'm so...
You buy it, and it's already
They
like a
get
used
me.
car, basically.
They show me something shiny, and I'm like, shit, I gotta get it now. So I'd end up with, the Ouya 1, 2, 3, and 4 all just, like, sitting in my closet.
Well,
except,
and you can stack them up in little cubes.
then you can,
Yes!
Like Legos.
then you can smash through them and yell, "Ouya!" Little brick wall of Ouyas.
Buy enough of them, you can sell it as a painting.
All right.
That's the next meme I'm gonna make is the Kool-Aid Man smashing through a wall of Ouyas.
There you
Ouya
go.
Man,
Do it.
yeah, fine.
That's all you need. All right, this is kind of rumor at this point, but Little Big Planet 3 is on the way, supposedly.
No, this is happening.
Is it happening?
Yeah, it's not from Media Molecule, which is the gentleman that brought the
It's on
first
London
two.
Studios, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's from not Cambridge. I can't think what they're called right now. It's right next door because the guys
Yeah.
at Media Molecule.
Hello.
You working on that?
Not that close, but yeah. No, because they helped out with Little Big Planet Karting. That was another
Yeah.
developer from London because they're really close to Media Molecule, so they come over and make sure they're not screwing over their thing. Because they're the guys that made the Little Big Planet
Hey,
are working
stop fucking
on.
that up.
They're working on Tearaway right now for the Vita and an unannounced PS4 game.
So they basically passed on the little planet.
They said that they don't want to do Little Big
Yeah.
Planet anymore. They want to move on.
to a new developer, a brand new company. Or?
No, they handed the reins off because they want to spread their wings.
Yeah, well, like,
They're doing Tearaway right now, which looks awesome.
the company they handed it off to was already working with them. So
and they're still overseeing them
Kinda like
because
a
they're like
Bungie
they're like
3,
right down the
4, 3
street.
thing.
You know.
So in other words, we're probably going to get a Little Big Planet 3.
That's
right,
what
right,
they-
3? Probably somewhere in the launch window, I assume.
yeah.
yeah, probably.
And the guys that made it.
a new game from the people that made that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Plus a
This is
Vita
good.
game. Plus a
This is
Vita
good.
game. Yeah, it's good news.
Good news.
It's
a
good
Vita-
for the
plus
three
a
of
Vita-
us.
plus a Vita game.
Exactly. Out of the three of you, how many of you are gonna buy it?
I'm getting
One?
Tearaway. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
What?
Tearaway looks great.
All right.
I'm down.
All
Yeah,
three of us.
3
They have
units.
3. We'll be 3 of the 8 copies.
So
they
it's
sell.
pre-ordered?
They
Pre-ordered?
have a
Whoa, that's a 30% attention. Oh my god.
supposed to be
that's-
a 100% U.S. attach rate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, but the game looks charming as shit. I just, you'll have to ask me 5 days later because, for the first 3 days I fucking love everything.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah.
I think that was the greatest quote ever. The game looks charming as shit. kind of. He had a lot of anger in his
Put
voice.
that on the back of the box.
This is charming as shit.
It looks charming as shit.
Like a review score.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 stars.
IGN says charming as
All right.
All right, next sexy story. J.J. Abrams, Star Trek, and now Star Wars, and Valve are actually working together on an unannounced game project. Half-Life 3.
It's called Lens Flare.
Lens flare.
New Star Wars game.
Well,
I know the movie.
Yeah, Abrams is doing Star Trek and now Star Wars, and now he's working with Valve on some game project.
I think Star Wars is pouring all their shit into 1313 right now. I don't think they're gonna.
Star Wars Connect.
Well, I didn't say that.
Oh hell yeah!
I said Half-Life 3.
Most anticipated sequel for the next gen.
Yeah.
Star Wars Connect.
Half-Life 3 now with more Lens Flare.
Yeah. Now with more head crabs.
Smog monsters.
This could be so many things.
Yeah, I know. They did say it was a game project in the quote I read, so we'll see.
Well, now he finished Fringe, right? So he's probably really bored.
Yeah, he's off of Friends now.
Friends?
I know. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever.
Moving on. To kill rumors that I started 2 weeks ago, Microsoft came out and said they do not plan to release Halo on Steam.
Yeah, quit spreading falsities, Mark.
Hey, I'm right a lot of the time. News!
Are we
That's
done?
it.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Good, quick.
Yeah.
So Jason,
Yeah, I'm working on it.
how you doing?
Not bad.
Gmail.
All right, now it's time for our email section.
Oh man, that was loud.
I don't even know you people.
I kept trailing onward a little.
Okay, thanks
Email.
for the guy with the headset on. Great. Ear rape. Yeah, pretty much. All right, so we're going to kick it off with a question from Magnus. He said, what are some things you'd like to see out of the next-gen consoles?
More games that last more than 3 hours.
That's just Call of Duty.
How many times you beat Dead Space
okay,
already?
all right.
How many times you beat Dead Space already?
Technically 2, and I got 2 more run-throughs I'm doing.
Isn't technically Elder Scrolls 5 like the main quest only about 3 hours?
Elder Scrolls 5,
I don't know,
you
he-
mean Skyrim or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He,
Skyrim.
if you've never heard, he broke his game. So
Wow.
Did you?
there's no dragons in his game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Okay, I heard that.
That's why he's angry.
Yeah.
Skyrim isn't the main quest like 2.5, 3
Like,
hours?
Fallout New Vegas is literally, you could breeze through that in probably 4 hours. Like, the main quest is ridiculously short.
Really?
Yeah.
The main quests usually are, it's like the 1,000 sub-quests that
Yeah.
don't work half the time. It's like... that'll keep going.
Borderlands 2 is a prime example. If you stuck just to the quest missions, the story missions, you can breeze through that. It's all the little distracting side missions that catch you up.
Yes and no. If you... Well, Borderlands 2 is what I ran into a playthrough too when I was working with you. We wanted to skip all the side missions. Got to the end of the game, it's like, I'm fighting 47s as a 42. I'm not
Yeah.
high enough to continue.
Yeah,
you
well,
gotta
I mean
go.
that's
You gotta do some grinding.
Yeah, that's artificial game extension, like
I hate
time.
grinding.
But that
yeah,
adds
so,
time. So.
Yeah,
That's why I'm stuck in Borderlands 2
But
is
that's
I
the
have
RPG
grinding.
element. That's
like
the
that.
whole point of it.
Yeah.
Is that you're supposed to do some grinding. Like, I mean, if you're playing Final Fantasy back in the day, you can't just run through the whole thing. Well, you could, but you're gonna do a little bit of grinding. And level up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That island's the same way. I'm still playing through that. It forces you to go do stuff because you'll just end up encountering enemies that are way too tough for you.
Really?
You have to go.
I thought it goes level
That's the
specific to you.
When was the last time you played it?
2 days ago.
Yeah, I saw you online.
That's what made me think about it.
so
I was just saying, yeah, because literally it wasn't like that before.
They like fixed
That's-
the
that's
patch
new.
where it's supposed to scale better than
Yeah, it's supposed to
what it
scale
did in the
better.
past.
I don't know.
all right,
The
so
other-
sticking on topic for the
Never.
question.
Yeah, the-
Features that we'd like to see out of the next gen.
Oh yeah, that's the question.
The one thing I'm sorry because we were actually talking about this on the way up here, and I'm sorry for the 2 or 3 that already heard this, but I would love to see better AI. That's the number one thing
Oh, why does he always bring this up?
I want out of next gens because like I'm tired of how stupid everything is in game. Like, and the point for it with me was like difficulty. Difficulty scales are awful. It's like when you turn even Call of Duty up on veteran. You're not actually making the enemies smarter or harder. There's just more BS.
You're making the bullets harder.
You just
and you softer.
they just bombard you with a bunch of grenades. It doesn't take any more skill. You just got to keep running away from the grenade indicator, and the enemies just turn into bullet sponges. They're not smarter or more crafty or actually do anything. And when you set it down to easy, they're still dumbasses. They don't shoot at you. It's not like they're less accurate or something like that. They don't even hit you. That's the number one thing I want to
He
see.
says they're less accurate, but they don't even hit you.
Yep.
Yeah, that would mean
It makes
you're
sense
less,
if you don't think about it.
Yeah. Oh, they said that they're not less accurate.
No, they're less accurate and they don't hit you.
Oh, okay.
That's what less accurate means.
I'm trying to double. I double negated it in my head. All right.
But yeah, that's the one thing I want to see is smarter AI.
Moss.
More new IP, more diverse new IP. I think this gen, we've got a lot of new IPs that are of the same genre, aka first-person shooters. We were talking about this along the way. Like Dishonored came out last year, and it got big praise being brand new IP, and we were talking about it, how it's got, a lot of things they pulled from other games and did stuff slightly better. That's nice. That's good to have that, but I'd like to see more diversity. I'd like to see some old genres that don't exist as much these days come back, like adventure games. I don't think there's as many these days.
There's not.
Okay.
If Telltale's not making it, there's no adventure game.
Yeah.
They're all Japanese.
Yeah.
Well, like even like hack and slash adventure games, like Darksiders was fun. Even God of War is somewhat like an adventure game and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree. It feels like we're stuck in those same 8 or 9 genres, and that's every game falls into one of those, and that's it. Yeah. There's nothing new or innovative coming out.
I want to see this annual release bullshit come to an end.
Yeah.
And I think
oh god.
I'm hoping the gamers eventually catch on, and I hope every single gradual Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, Madden's actually sort of happened a little bit, where gradual decline in sales year over year. I hope that.
Okay. Hayes, what you got?
I'm gonna pass for now because I've actually never thought about this question for some reason.
Okay.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Same here, but at the same time, I want to see old games come back. There was a rumor that Crash Bandicoot was being revamped. That it's one of the
So you want to see
Well, you want to see old IPs.
old heroes come
but
back.
come back. I know they kind of did that with Spyro with the whole
Skylanders.
No, they have ruined that almost.
No, they screwed Spyro up.
Yeah.
Exactly, but
Spyro
I want them to revamp it because it was good on the PlayStation.
It was.
When it came to PS2, it was sort
But
of.
haven't they sort of been doing this the last few years, though? Well, at least on the Nintendo front.
Kind of.
They did a Donkey Kong, they did a Kid
Oh,
Icarus.
They started revamping the old stuff, but
Aren't they bringing back Star Fox too soon? Or is that still a rumor?
That's a rumor.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to I love Crash Bandicoot. That's the first game I started when I got my PlayStation. Me and my grandpa would just keep getting the controller.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good genre, or a lot of good series that went dormant. That we got like Jet Moto we were talking about the other week. And
Oh, yeah.
I brought up I want Jack and Dexter 4. I'd love to see that. That's been dormant since the PS2 and stuff like that. They could bring back an awful lot of
Yeah.
good games. Yeah.
Angry Andy, you got one?
Couple. Well, games last longer, of course. Choices between maybe play styles, something even like character creation. Don't throw me in a default character all the time. And replayability. Call of Duty, perfect example. You beat it in 3 hours, you're done, and a lot of games do it. Dead Space, one reason I've gone through a whole handful of runs with that. You collect all the artifacts in the game. You got a new set of armor and some extra weapons. You finish all the submissions, same thing. They reward you for playing the game multiple times with something other than 20 gamer score.
Yeah.
Tired of gamer score shit only.
Mine is definitely more on the story aspect for some games. I really have fallen in love with branching story type games. That's why I'm really into the new Rainbow Six. Is supposed to be one of the first ones to actually do this, where it's supposed to be kind of like a long division thing, where it's just going to be do this, now you go here. If you do that, you go to a different thing there. Now you go there. It's going to be kind of cool where you can get a completely different ending. I just love, that's why I loved, you talked about Heavy Rain on the way over, I believe. Heavy Rain was awesome because anything you did changed what happened later, and it's just cool because then you get to talk about your decisions with your friends.
So are you talking about an overarching completely
Branching stories.
or are you talking something like almost like a Spec Ops where there's choices all along the way,
I'm okay with that,
But
but
you're still
I'm
going to
talking.
get to the same kind of conclusion.
Yeah, I mean that is cool with me. That's like it's fine, but I want it to be even further expanded upon where there's even more branching parts to it.
Like Walking Dead was more like Spec Ops 2. There's the same starting point
Yeah.
and the same finishing point.
Yeah.
The game changed from in between that,
it.
what you did, but
Yeah.
everybody's going to get to that same last cutscene.
Yeah, I would rather enjoy, and this is playing into yours with replayability. It's going to enhance every game that comes out with that for people who just want to see. I mean, Walking Dead's a perfect example of that. Is, damn it, I should have saved the other guy.
Right. Yeah.
And you want to go back and see what else he added to the story because me and my girlfriend played and we took opposite decisions each time just to see either side. And there were some ones that I chose, then some ones that she chose that she wished she didn't. So, like, you know, because we liked what that character did later. And I think that was really cool. So, I mean, I love that. I'd love to see further expanded upon where it's even more diverse.
Very cool.
This got me thinking of something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see less games. It's going to sound backwards a little bit, but less games that have multiplayer.
Me too.
Yeah.
Tacked on.
Me too.
Yeah, and like I think
Bioshock
stuff.
2.
What you were saying with the replayability is a way to fix that. More single player games that have diverse ways to play, so that you can play it 2, 3, 4, 5, 17 times through.
I'd even like to say on that is less DLC as well.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
most.
Some deals is okay, but
That is some is okay, but I think you have to sort through a lot of junk to get to the good stuff a lot of the time.
Less day one DLC.
well, that doesn't make sense. Day one.
Yeah, that was a stupid idea when it was invented.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more story-based DLC as opposed to I don't need more
Yeah,
maps.
yeah.
I'd like another 2 or 3 missions.
With like Borderlands 2, they did the whole 4 map or Borderlands 1 they did the 4 maps and then the 4 new missions and then what we at for Borderlands 2 like 3 or 4 right now.
Third
Yeah.
one and the fourth one's coming out sometime before June.
Yeah.
And then God knows what other characters they got lined up too.
Yeah, they were talking about adding more characters into.
I think for me it is almost kind of like a mashup of what everybody's kind of touched base on. I'd like to see more options with a customization. And the whole point of playing games is telling a story at its core. So games that allow you to create your character and kind of pick the path that you choose, like Mass Effect and things like that, they tend to appeal to people a little bit more because you're in touch with the character more because that is you. You built him, you customized him. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see more of that going forward in all different genres of games. For instance, racing games, they've kind of gotten away from it a little bit. Forza still does it, Gran Turismo still does it, but the casual racing game doesn't. They give you a car and said, okay, you can mod a couple of things, but you're driving a Porsche. That's it. As to where in the older Need for Speeds, you wanted to change your rims, you could customize it, you could personalize it. And I think it kind of needs, in almost every different genre can benefit from a little bit more customization and allowing the player more choice.
Right.
Which is going to expand upon replayability because then you can craft a completely different character and take a different branch and different path and try it again.
Yeah.
I think I figured out mine.
There you go. Go ahead.
So with like the evolution of technology and the next generation consoles coming out, like I'd like to see more, I guess, a lot more mocap kind of stuff and facial. Like you were talking about Heavy Rain, and I'm thinking like that was
LA
probably
Noire.
one of the most impactful games. It might be on top as like the most impactful game to really hit me. Like, you know, I haven't finished Walking Dead yet. I'm sure that'll be up there too. But just like the
Cutting off your
how
finger.
when the when the faces look so real and like you see that when he's doing stuff like that,
Have
and
you
you can
played-
see the emotion in his face. Like that dude's
Yeah.
fine.
Have you
Like,
played LA Noire?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's incredible.
That game has. I don't think there's a single game that can come even close to their mocap.
No.
Yeah.
Literally, look at the videos of them. They're sitting in a studio.
Yeah.
That's their exact same face in the game because they just took that
The
straight
speed at
into
which
it.
it moves
This-
and the
everything is so
little
right.
tiny nuances.
There's actually a cool
Yeah.
video that just released from the company in, I think it's Australia.
The bloopers?
The bloopers. Hilarious. Go look at the bloopers because even when they mess up, you see it in their face. Like, literally,
Right.
like, it's... That game, I didn't realize how good that was until the bloopers came out and they showed side by side in-game blooper and the guy sitting in the studio. Like literally, it was real time from the studio to the game when they were doing it.
Well, and it's like when you were saying with L.A. Noire was like, there's no other game that I can think of where you can look at a character's face and you can tell when they're lying because they'll have like that little tick or something will go off, and it's so human that it's almost scary. You know, when you get to that blurring lines of
So much so that like some of them I couldn't tell if they were lying because they
I
had
got it
such
wrong
a
just because of that sometimes.
and I think
I was overthinking it. I'm like, all right, wait. He blinked.
He's not looking at me. He's not looking at me.
It's his tell. It's his tell.
Yeah.
He checked his watch.
And that's why I'm so excited for like Beyond Two Souls and stuff. Is because I think along with that, I think we're going to see a lot more of blending the cinematic quality of movies and TV with the games, and you're going to see actors coming in, people who never you think would ever work with games, and all of a sudden we're going to start seeing like Sean Bean and like all these different actors and stuff. I think becoming involved with games. Yeah, who's in Beyond Two Souls.
I don't know her real name. Yeah.
The
chick from Juno.
Ellen
Whatever.
Page.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's just going to be incredible because like I think there's going to be a whole new pull back. I think that would be one of the things that pulls people back towards console gaming is if we get like actors in there and stuff like that. You're going to want to play a whole game as like one of your favorite actors as a character.
Yeah, I'll play like 10 hours with Ryan Gosling. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Not just a stupid Call of Duty commercial that they're in, but actually
exactly.
Have
Yeah, that'd be incredible. And
Samuel L. Jackson is in everything.
Yeah.
That's
right.
everyone.
You unlocked Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And that's the thing that I think that it'll also give a lot of actors who aren't huge headliners a lot of chance too to become more involved both in gaming and in movies, get more recognition. Is you know, if your character is the guy whose voice and you know you got motion captured and everything for a character, it's awesome. It's gamers know you, and then more people who don't play games will be more excited for it. And then I think the second big thing I was just going to say is that I started playing platformers again recently. I had like just never bought one for a long while just because, you know. And like I started playing Sly Cooper a little while back and stuff, and I realized I love them, but the limits to it, and I don't know if it's like a technological limitation or if it's just that's how it's developed, like that's what the genre is, but I'd like to see some kind of evolution in that. Like I'd like to have some kind of feeling of like, I didn't play much of Skyrim, but the one thing that I did like was that, hey, you see a place, you can go to it. Like, that'd be awesome if within that platforming aspect, you didn't just see places that were like paintings on the background. Like, if you know, if they somehow have some kind of evolution in the platforming genre, I think it would really bring me back into it.
Have you played, I know most people don't like it, but Fez? Fez is one of the...
I haven't yet.
Fez is one of the first ones, I think Pushmo as well is like this as well.
Yeah.
Where it does make... It's actually like a three-dimensional space
There's like a
with
depth
it.
thing to it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is at least an evolution from like... Because most... The biggest evolution they've had is from 2D to 2.5D, and no one's really done 3D yet, with the exception of like those two probably. Even Pushmo is still probably pretty much 2.5, but Fez is probably the first one I've seen that's just completely three-dimensional.
If you're looking for, and I know I talked about it last week, if you're looking for a really interesting platformer / puzzle with a really good narrative, check out The Cave. It's actually really cool.
Oh, yeah. Really
cool.
I've played that a couple times.
Good.
And it's just, and I was just thinking, like, with next-gen consoles, like, what kind of things can they do with platforming to make it more than just, the graphics are pretty? And I'm not just talking, like, 2D platforming necessarily, but also, like, Sly Cooper stuff, things where, you know, you have a linear set kind of path. Even I know it's first-person, but, like, even Dishonored kind of has that kind of feel where it's like you got that linear kind of line of where you're going to go.
Yeah, with very
but
little...
how can we evolve that and make it different? How can we have it keep the platformer feel? But like that's the only thing that I'm doing when I'm playing Sly Cooper right now is I'm like I love it, but I know that there's like a narrow scope of where I can go left and right. You know, I can go 10 feet this way or 10 feet that way, and then I can only go forward.
Yeah.
So
that's how Dishonored is as well. They give you a corridor with 4 different paths to go down.
Also, stop with the motion gaming.
Well, you don't want more Xbox?
Stop it. No, Sony,
no.
Microsoft. No.
Connect support.
Bad.
Every game Connect support.
Yeah, that can go away now.
I didn't pay attention, but what is the Kinect support in Dead Space?
Voice command.
You really want to know how stupid this is?
Sure.
Reload.
That's what they did in Halo.
how stupid do you
Grenade.
feel? Like, I
that
tried
takes
to-
longer than just pushing the grenade button, though.
The
It's
worst part
retarded.
is when they tried to show like videos of it. There's a half-second delay, so it's like stasis.
Yeah.
And he's already trying to kill me now.
Like Skyrim's Connect thing was horrible.
They're all horrible.
They're all horrible.
It's not better with Kinect.
The system
Mass
is
Effect 3 wasn't that bad.
No, it was bad.
no Mass
all
Effect
bad.
was actually probably one of the
No.
better ones. No,
No.
it was.
Motion
It
gaming
was.
sucks.
It actually did not have like a delay
Here's
nearly
my
at all.
question for that though. Is instead of trying to make this Connect shit work, why don't they just make it where you can do it with a headset?
Yeah.
just curious.
And
you know,
or-
like
yeah.
old school SOCOM and what was it, Lifeline? Even though that game didn't work.
Oh God.
Yeah, there
But-
might not be that much of a delay.
What was that?
Yeah.
I didn't play it, but Tom Clancy's N-Word did something like that, right? Where you
Yeah.
would give vocal
Yeah.
commands.
Yeah, that was through the headset.
Right.
That was before Kinect even came out.
But it's just, I
No,
saw my friend play
fucking
Mass Effect, and he's just like, grunt, left, shotgun blast. I'm like, I feel so fucking dumb just doing that. Nobody would be able to be around, and even if they weren't, like, if I heard it echo back at me, I'd be like, who the fuck said that? Ah, crap, it was me.
It's actually useful, like if you were playing like StarCraft with Kinect support, like strategy games, where you're hovering on one side of the screen, whatever, and you just like give a.
Well, that's what they did with N-War. It was
Like,
it
that
was
could
a
actually
strategy
work.
game that they used
Yeah.
voice
They're
command.
trying to
with.
put it in games that don't need it, and then it's like when they do it, it's for the stupidest things. And for
Madden,
example,
Heist.
Halo,
because it
Yeah.
has no place
Yeah.
in actual hardcore games.
in RTS, I
There's
can easily
no
see that.
place
It's
for
like
it.
when you micromanage groups like 1, 2, and 3. It's like one go to here, and that'll work great.
I need it in my Madden. I cannot hike the ball with A anymore. Anymore.
No more analog.
No more. Juke left.
Let's move
Damn
on.
it, tackled.
All right. Lysios actually sent in 2 questions. His first question, pretty quick here. Any of us planning on getting Aliens Colonial Marines?
Nope.
I'm considering it the more I keep seeing the commercials.
I've been
I'm gonna-
considering it, but
Yeah.
I'm not soon.
I think that's one of those ones for me that I'll get somewhere down the line.
Same here.
But definitely,
Let me know when you get it,
There's
'cause that's-
way too much coming out in the next 2 months that I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
This thing's not even on my radar.
Angry Andy and I both had it pre-ordered literally 3 years ago when it was announced. And I don't care about it anymore. I'm over it. They took too long.
It'll be like if
They-
The Last Guardian comes out.
They
People
pissed
just
me
be like,
off.
"Forget
I was
it,
like,
dude."
you know what? No, I don't want you anymore. No,
Well,
no.
yeah.
How about you just give me Borderlands 3? Huh?
Yeah.
A lot of these games are suffering from, that Duke Nukemitis or whatever, where
Yeah.
like you just wait too long until the excitement has so burned off
Yeah.
that you're like, it could be an awesome game, but I've been too excited for too long, and the excitement has worn me out. And
Yeah.
now I look at it and I just want to take a nap or something.
Exactly.
The game's never going to live up to the hype anymore.
Yeah.
All right. His second question: are any of us planning on attending the Dwayne and Brando reunion tour?
Yeah.
That's what it's called, the
Yeah.
reunion tour.
I'll definitely come next time it's in Chicago. I've actually talked to Brando a lot.
Should you give us a quick rundown because I know some of us probably don't know.
I have
who
no
they
idea what
are.
that is.
No.
Dwayne and Brando?
No.
They basically are musicians that give lyrics to a lot of video games. A lot of classic stuff. They've done like remixes for like Mega Man 2 and Battletoads and both of the original
How dare they?
the first 2 Legend of Zelda games
Punch
for
him
the
in the
NES.
throat.
I
It's really amazing.
I
some of the stuff
personally
they do.
haven't heard of them, but that's kind of right up my alley with what I listen to, MC Chris and I Fight Dragons and stuff like that. So if you're planning on going, let me know. I'll definitely tag along.
Yeah, they're good. I like
If
them.
it's going to
Good
be
people.
entertaining, I'll come. I don't.
I like music.
They had a kick. to give an example of how big they are, they had a when they had the reunion, like announcing the reunion.
Yeah, okay.
They were doing a Kickstarter to do their tour, and they actually raised $35,000.
Nice.
So
Tony,
they're
anyone want a beer? Beer?
Beer break.
Beer.
Anybody?
I'll take one.
I'll take one.
I think
Surprise me, Mark.
I'll take a water.
No, no.
All right.
Sorry.
This one, he wrote a nice little paragraph here. This is from Nick Coons.
What's up, Nickens?
He goes, why did you guys decide to make a podcast when there are far bigger podcasts out there? He's got 2 parts, so that's part 1.
What did he say? Because we're better. I know when
I've got a long story, so go
when
ahead.
when I wanted to start this, I know we were in talks with Jason back in the day when we first kicked this off. A lot of it had to do with we all worked together at a GameStop, and it was closed down. And for me, I never really needed the money from a GameStop, but for me it was my way to vent because a lot of my other friends, they're not really into video games. They'll talk sports with me and stuff, or we'll talk cars or whatever, girls and stuff like that. But none of them really care about video games. So for me, GameStop was always a way to come and like kind of get my nerd out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I loved that job. Then when they closed our GameStop, the one that me and Jason and stuff worked at, I had to find a way to talk video games every week, kind of get the nerd out every week. And so to me, the podcast became an escape. Then I later got rehired at a different GameStop, so now I'm kind of pulling double duty. But that's quite literally where it stemmed from me, why I wanted to start this.
Cool.
So long story short, you just wanted the free games you can get from GameStop. Check them out.
When I originally came up with the concept, and I'm going to take credit for coming up with the concept. A lot of credit has got to do with Kevin Smith. He was transitioning from doing movies into doing podcasts, and he actually said something. He goes, it doesn't matter if 5 people or 50,000 people listen to what I have to say. It's not about that. I'm sitting around at a table with my friends having a conversation and documenting that. And for me, being almost 10 years at GameStop, I had a lot of great interactions with the people that I worked with there, and liked that connection that I had. Video games was the catalyst of the conversation. It wasn't always the conversation, but it was always our segue and what kept the conversation going. So for me, it would be those two aspects. Kevin Smith coming out and saying, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you find a way to have an outlet. As long as you have a way to talk about something that you're interested in and care about. Doesn't matter how many people listen to it or who listens to it. It's first and foremost for you. The second was, like I said, kind of just being able to sit around with my friends and retelling some of the tales and some of the stories and just the way that the conversations flow and actually being able to go back and listen to that.
Why'd you start the podcast, sir?
Well, I got a call, 3 a.m., Tony asking me, I need you.
Yeah.
So Jason's out.
That's a question.
Literally, I was kind of a last second add-on because this guy was busy.
Well, we were going to do it with our story, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was in a weird point in a transition between work and stuff and didn't have the time to sit down.
Well, we're glad we got you on eventually.
Yeah.
So, fucking
literally, another reason when they asked and I actually said yes was almost the exact kind of same reasons you were. I'm by far one of the nerdier people in my group when it comes to video games. My friends have different interests all over the board, my group. So literally coming together every single week, actually just talking games for 2 hours is absolutely great.
It's therapeutic.
I was just going to say, it's actually very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It saves me a lot of money in psychiatric bills.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pretend that I was here since day one and just say, that it's the question is kind of like asking, if you like writing, why would you write a book if there's Stephen King out there or something? It's like if you're passionate about something, you love something,
do it.
And
if you've got a story
it's
to
like,
tell,
I like
it.
to talk sometimes, and you like video games, you just talk about it and you throw it out there, and it's like you don't start something like this because you're like, I'm going to get like 1 million listeners and become famous and it's going to be awesome.
That's
you
why
just
I came.
do it because
I sign autographs.
Well, see, you got a chance. You're pretty attractive, Mark. So
There you go.
Plus, like Mark said, we're the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized when he asked me, I'm like, well, I'm probably the most interesting person they know, so they need me. They need me.
Yeah, Mark donates time. He just comes to help us out.
It's sort of like with me with some of my websites I run. Some of them are not successful at all, but every time I work on a certain
compatible.org.
Well, still getting 20 people a day.
Yes.
Some of the projects I work on, you still get that sense of accomplishment once you actually put it together, finish it, and it's there. I guess this goes back to what Kevin Smith was saying as well, where, it's still documenting your work. And, it's nice when people, view it, comment on it, and you gain those interactions. Like, think of all the people that, we don't have much of a viewership here, but we got 40, 50, 60 people.
About that.
But they're loyal and they come in every week.
We
And
get some of the same commenters every week. I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to us every week. And there's some things that I listen to or watch. It's got a small audience. It's got its niche audience, and I like listening to it. So if we have those 40, 50 people, That's all it takes.
I'm actually shocked. Sometimes I go out and friends, I don't really talk to a lot. They'll say that they're weekly listeners, or they'll just, they don't comment, but they listen, and I'm actually surprised when they do because
I get it from my friends too.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, we heard you guys show. You guys were talking about this and this." And this.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm like,
listen?
you listen?
What? It's actually it's almost it's like, I'm going to compare it to TV. Okay, if we all like a specific TV show, but that TV show doesn't bring in the ratings that the network wants, they cancel it. We don't have to worry about that. It doesn't matter if we've got 5 listeners or 50,000.
Don't care.
And if I can steal a direct quote from Kevin Smith, he goes, it's just me putting the shit out there that I like and seeing if anybody else there likes the same shit that I do.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's good.
So it's a
Yeah,
two-parter?
and well, no. The other part I'm gonna bring up. The only reason that Angry Andy's here is because I forced him. So
Yes.
that's why he does it.
Plus, I promised them for the 1 year.
Angry.
His
I hate
second
being here. Can be finishing Dead Space in Laos.
his second question is that we always say that the major gaming sites are biased because they get support from the developers and from things like that. They get money and they get the games early and blah blah blah. He goes, do we ever feel that we'll end up like that?
No.
Well,
No.
I digress. Okay, if somebody offers us each $1 million to say their shit is good,
I love Call of Duty.
Call of Duty's the
That's
best.
the best.
I'm
Yes,
in.
Activision.
I'm in.
Watch our
I will
commercials.
sell
So
out in a second.
In that contract, does it say that you can never say that it's bad?
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I know exactly what he's saying. Because, you take
Yeah.
something like Game Informer, and we work for that company.
Yeah,
Game
yeah, I get
Informer
what you're
is
saying. Oh, you know.
GameStop.
Oh,
it
my
is
God.
so biased. Because we can tell. You look at the games that company spends big money wanting to promote. Stuff like Borderlands 2.
When you start reading some of those reviews and shit, and you're just like, how much did they pay you?
You can tell because you just look at the stuff that they get huge walls on our new release section. Stuff that gets like 4 rows. And those are the games that get 9s and 10s in the game because they paid to have their stuff showcased.
Especially
and
with
GameStop
the
is expecting
power
to make a
cards,
lot of
yeah.
money on them. You know what I mean? And then I'm not saying the guys at Game Informer don't ever make a legitimate review. It's just the ones that can't afford
Yeah.
it are the ones that probably just get reviewed
I feel like almost
correctly.
every score is going to have like a 3-point bumper where it's always 3 points higher, like between
they want to sell it.
between 1 to 3 points higher. Because if you put 10 reviews in your magazine saying these are 4s, well, you just gave someone a magazine for a game store that you're trying to sell stuff, and you're like, hey, this is shitty, buy it
Yeah.
for $60.
Well, exactly. What I was going to say is with the power-up card, you get the subscription. When you buy a power-up card, that basically just means your repeat business every single... you'll come in a few times a year. They get a magazine every single month. They see that this game got a 9 or 10. They don't know it's our publication of it. They're going to, next time they come in, 4 months down the road, like, hey, I know this game it happens all the time. People come in. I know this game got reviewed really well. They got like a 9 or something, and they'll buy it because they read a review on it when the magazine came in.
Then you got other sites like I follow IGN a lot. That's my go-to source, and I feel like they catch a lot of shit for being paid off, and I really don't think they are because I think they're just fanboys of their because they split that company up. Like you got the 2 guys that run the PlayStation team, the 2 guys that run the Nintendo team, and the 2 people that run the Microsoft team, and they're the ones that review their exclusives, and sometimes they're really overly critical of what they have, but you could tell that
Or utterly critical.
yeah, but you could tell the fanism is coming through.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying for sure. You never know. You'd have to get a job there to know if they're paid off or not. But sometimes I think just people assume everybody's paid off, and that's not the case. But there are publications out there that I feel are.
Well, it's like you were
clearly.
saying to me that like when we were talking about like Audrey Drake, her reviews for like the DS.
She
for
fluffs.
the DS
She
games.
fluffs every
Right.
Nintendo review.
And that's the
ever.
thing, like for you to
But
read
she's
like,
such a Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
You could see
Exactly.
she just loves it.
and that's it. So
There's
like,
nothing wrong with
for-
that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like for you reading a review by her, it's not going to be the same as like me reading a review by her because like if she's reviewing like Kingdom Hearts, like I love Kingdom Hearts. I played all the games, so on and so forth. So if I'm reading that review, like I'm really going to be into it, and I'm going to be like, okay, yeah. And I might not agree with a 9.5 or some crap like that. But
I don't think she's ever given a Nintendo public
Right,
game
but it's-
lower than a 9.
But it's
ever.
Yeah.
She gave Skyward Sword a perfect 10.
Yeah,
And she
Yeah.
gave Darksiders 2 a 7.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know, dude.
I'm
But
just
it-
saying.
and that's the thing. Like, it depends on who's reviewing, and it's like because when I'm reading reviews for sports games, like I honestly hate sports games. So if I see something gets like a freaking 9.5, I'm like, fuck skewed.
What sport game's got a 9.5 in the last?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
NHL 11.
No,
NBA,
NBA,
2K11.
Yeah,
2K11, Tom McShay from GameStop gave it a 9.
Yeah, NBA and NHL are getting high reviews currently, but Maddens are like 8s, and FIFA are starting to go down right now. They're around 8.5s.
I have a kind of a spin on the question for Moss here. Because you run a dedicated Zelda site and everything, do you ever get any flack for maybe standing up if somebody's bashing them or anything like that, like bashing like Skyward Sword or anything like that, or maybe talking negatively about Nintendo? And then because you run the site, but you still have your own opinion, do you feel that you get anything like, oh, well, they're paying you to say that shit? You ever get
No,
anything
well,
like that?
with the Zelda site in particular, I mean, I treat the different sites sort of differently. The Zelda one is more of a fan site, so we offer reaction a lot. So
Okay.
I don't think anybody's ever accused us of...
Fair enough.
Yeah, but like sometimes, like if a game reviewer gives something, like there was this GameStop reviewer for Skyward Sword, and he gave it like a 6.5 or a 7 or something, and he cited something about the controls, for example, how the sensor bar wasn't picking up his remote control properly. But like we wrote an article about this because I don't know if you know anybody who's played Skyward Sword. You don't even use the sensor bar for the entire game. You don't even need it. You just need to calibrate it, and then that's it.
Right.
So, like, he was talking all these negative things about the sensor bar when you don't even use the sensor bar. So, like, we wrote a whole article, like, I think it was called An Ode to Tom McShay or something.
I think that was someone who's unfamiliar with the hardware or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So,
nitpicking little... Yeah.
well, we defend our game. But we also we let bloggers, like some of our staff members, we just write opinionated piece about why they dislike certain games. And,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the thing. As much as you guys love the series, I don't feel that you guys automatically have to defend every single Zelda thing that's ever come out. Like even you talk badly about like the CDI games or whatever.
Okay.
Oh, well,
That's the exception
Well,
of the rule, though.
Okay, but I'm just giving an example that just because it says Zelda on it doesn't mean it's automatically
Oh, yeah.
a masterpiece.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
I
can
know
be
that.
You guys can be critical of some things that come out. You know what I mean? You guys know how I'm with Uncharted. I still make fun of the aiming.
If anything,
It's not perfect.
I feel that the
You know what I mean?
diehards should be more critical than the casuals, if anything,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, hence why I didn't care for Skyward Sword, because I just didn't like the story and the flow of it. We've talked about that, you know, but still a great game. I'm not going to say it's horrible. It just wasn't for me.
I got criticized at one of our sister sites, Gen Game, where there was a review for Darksiders 2, and the reviewer quoted me because I actually said this. I said Darksiders 2 is the best console 3D Zelda game since Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
So I wrote, you know, and then so the Zelda was like, wait, what? How could you say that? But yeah, so
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. All right, Stoked asked. He said, "Do you think Nihilistic will be the next LJN of the next generation of consoles?"
For those of you who are unfamiliar with Nihilistic, they were
Yeah, they're no longer now.
they were a first-party Sony studio who basically took spin-offs of other people's series. They were never allowed to spread their wings. Most recently, they made the Call of Duty Declassified. Before that, they made Resistance on the Vita. Before that, they made PlayStation
They've been doing so well.
Heroes Move. What the hell was that game called?
PlayStation Move Heroes.
PlayStation Move Heroes.
Yeah. Deadman's Quest. Yep.
They made
Yeah,
Deadman
Dead-
Quest? That
No,
wasn't
no,
them.
That was just
wasn't
another one that
Nihilistic.
came
Yeah,
with
you're
it. I don't
right.
know if
Sorry,
that's them.
sorry. Yeah.
And anyway, like say you base all those games out of a 10, I think they got like 6 out of 40. They're all reviewed terribly.
6 out of 40.
Nobody likes their
That's
games,
pretty high.
and just failure after failure after failure forced Sony to close them. So that's a background on Nihilistic.
Yep.
They're no longer with us.
Yeah.
I feel like they were the studio that, like, if Sony was making a game and they're like, oh, you have a really quick deadline, you know, they were the ones to step in, and, like, they knew it was going to be shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got this 5-month period or something to make a game, and you know that it's just going to be...
They were almost set up to fail. They were never given a proper
But they took
development.
the money.
Well, of
So-
course.
Oh, yeah, so you
exactly.
take that money.
But
You get paid pretty well. You
Yeah,
take the
yeah.
money until you close.
You know what you're doing.
I'm just saying, they never were given 2 years
Yeah.
to be like, here, make this game.
Oh, yeah,
It's
no.
exactly like you guys said. Resistance came out on the Vita, and 5 months later, Call of Duty Declassified came out.
Oh, my God.
So even if they started it
Yeah.
a month or two before Resistance launched, you had 7 months to make a game. That is
That's
not going
not
to.
even close to
It's
it
not
at
going
the
to
time.
happen.
Yeah.
That's
That
why
is
it
a
came out
lot
the
of
way.
outsourcing.
And that's why it came out the way it did. A 45-minute campaign with 4-on-4 multiplayer.
Is that
That's
literally how long it takes for the campaign almost?
45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't
That,
it?
that's about right with what
First
you can
campaign?
do.
Wasn't it Call of Duty? Wasn't it 9
It was 4
3-minute
hours
levels?
or less. And it was
The Vita Call of Duty? I heard it was 45, 46 minutes.
yes.
It was 9
Apologies,
missions that
yeah.
were 3 or 4 minutes each.
Yeah.
That's
What'd you
pretty
do?
good for 7 months.
I was thinking 4 hours for everything, like all challenges, maxed out.
Maybe to platinum
If you do every single thing in the game, it might take you about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe. And
You beat
and
that
that's-
level in the back room in like
Oh, I
2
know.
minutes.
And
You
that's
were like, this is
I
junk.
couldn't imagine spending 4 hours on that game.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking hell.
Because when it came in, he
You know
goes...
what hell is? It's when
he
you go
runs
to
in the
hell
back.
and you just play nihilistic games for the rest of eternity. Fuck, man.
That's great.
That's your version of purgatory?
Yes,
Just-
oh my god.
Just sitting there have to play nihilistic games.
No, not again. Not Call of Duty.
It's like, this is
I
a
think-
true
I think
can't
that's-
suicide out of this? Come on.
I think that's the next Let's Play from us.
Every nihilistic
my
game.
God.
man.
But no, they were like
Fucking
the
shit.
yeah, they were like the Pelican of developers or whatever. Like, what's the shittiest controller third party company you can think of? Like controllers
Mad
that fall
Cats.
apart.
Mad
yeah,
Cats.
they were like the Mad Cats of game
Anything Mad
developers.
Cats?
Is what it was.
What was the actual... I was just trying to give background on who
Um, he-
nihilistic was. What's the actual
He
question?
asked if we thought Nihilistic was going to be the next LJN of the next generation.
Would you like to take
So
that?
LJN was basically apparently the nihilistic of the NES. They made all these shitty like licensed games. They made all these movie games. I know they did like a Nightmare on Elm Street. I think they did Who Framed Roger's Rabbit.
That game was hard. I still have that.
Rabbit.
Fuck that
Did I say
game.
Roger's Rabbit? Roger's
Like, who's
Rabbit.
Roger?
But it's his fucking rabbit.
Right.
It's his possession.
Yeah. So yeah, they were well known for like releasing absolute garbage
Yeah.
on the NES. Like just yeah.
What, do you know what happened to him?
I don't know if they. I think they made it to the Super Nintendo
Yeah.
era, but yeah, like the biggest problem I think a lot of people had with their games is that they made these movie games that had nothing to do with the movies. They had this game.
Anytime somebody says that, my brain instantly goes to E.T.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they made like Back to the Future on the NES, and you're just like. It's like a skateboarding game where you're collecting clocks.
I remember that. I remember.
It's like,
that.
when did this happen?
They
What
literally
movie were you watching?
They literally reskinned Skate or Die for it.
Is that what it was?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Did they survive through Super Nintendo? Or-
I remember seeing the LGN has that rainbow.
Yeah, the rape.
Yeah, I think they made some
Who
wrestling
made
games.
Cool World?
They did.
Was
I
it-
I have no
Do you know who
idea.
made Cool World?
I think it
I'm
was
not sure.
them.
Because I want them to die.
GTS, man. GTS. Google that shit. What's it called?
LJN.
No, not that.
Oh,
Cool World. Go ahead. You guys keep talking.
Cool World, the game.
Yes, yeah.
Cool World, the game.
Cool.
It took me a minute to remember because I was like, who the fuck is LJN? But then I remember the rainbow.
The rainbow.
Yeah.
But I remember
yeah.
some of their wrestling games were good. Didn't they make like Royal Rumble?
Isn't Acclaim?
No, that
Oh,
was
that was
Did
a-
Acclaim have a
me
rainbow
see.
too?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, I'm confusing them with them because Acclaim did that. I think they were on Tony Hawk
We're
too,
gonna- we're
right?
gonna
Weren't
look
they?
it up.
Yeah,
actually,
'Cause they
Acclaim,
had-
I think Acclaim did the rainbows as well.
Yeah, okay.
Did LJN have
They
the-
did do WWF games.
LJN?
Yeah,
Did they do Royal Rumble and Raw is War? I think
I'm
on
looking
Super
it up
Nintendo?
right now.
Apparently, it was a movie as well.
Yeah,
They were
Cool World?
closed by
It's
Acclaim.
based on a movie.
Founded in 1970, closed down in 95. Wrestling superstars, Thundercats, Bionic 6, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, E.T., Gremlins, Back to the Future, Spider-Man, and the WWF games. Yeah.
So they did do ET?
Yeah.
They were under
Oh, well,
Acclaim.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they were under Acclaim. They were bought out by
that?
Acclaim, and then Acclaim closed them.
It was painting by numbers.
Good job, Acclaim.
Let's see. All right, here we go. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Back to the Future 2, Baseball Talk, Boy George,
That's a game.
Boy George,
Boy, George got his own game.
Brooke Shields, Dune,
Brooke Shields got a game?
E.T., a game called Emergency with an exclamation point, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Magnum P.I., Michael Jackson,
The Experience?
And Tom Selleck. Yes, he's just a mustache with legs.
SWAT,
They did the
Thundercats,
SWAT series?
Tiger Sharks, Voltron, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Wrestling Superstars,
Roger
and they
Rabbit.
did do the Terminator.
Oh man.
Here we go.
SWAT
Wait,
game?
wait.
Just
I have
one?
I have a
Alright,
list.
then one
Aliens 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Back to the Future Part 2 and 3, Beetlejuice, Bill and Ted, Friday the 13th, Jaws, The Karate Kid. I remember the mini game in Karate Kid with the chopsticks.
Wow.
NBA and NFL.
How are you still listing off games? I don't get this.
Wait, let's see if anybody remembers this one. The Incredible Crash Dummies.
Wow.
No?
This is
They had
like
a game.
Yeah.
This is like you.
Spider-Man
like,
and the X-Men in
there's some
Arcade's
third world
Revenge,
countries
which
just
that
funding
game wasn't
them 'cause
bad.
they're like, oh, they're making this famous.
SWAT ended up being a good series. It's dead now, though.
Yep.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
I didn't
And a
know.
bunch more jobs.
Yeah.
Wasn't Advanced Dungeons and Dragons a good game on the NES?
They had a couple. Look at WWF King of the Ring. That one wasn't bad. WWF Raw. That one wasn't bad.
Raw's
They did-
War, or Monday Night Raw, was it?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
that
did
was a very good game.
Royal
actually.
Rumble. They did Super WrestleMania.
Super WrestleMania.
Super WrestleMania, not just Wrestle.
Not just-
And then they followed it up with WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge for
Oh,
Game Boy.
that went over well. I'm
Anyways,
assuming.
yeah.
We should live stream that one.
Yes.
But I think to answer this question, based on what you're telling me, which is that they would just take elements from whatever name it is that they're making, like Back to the Future. Oh, there was a skateboard in that movie. It was about time, so there's probably clocks.
Hoverboard.
And then you throw them into a game that ends up being shitty, then yes, that's what nihilistic is, because they would take something like, Call of Duty. There's guns. There's terrorists. We throw this thing in here, but it doesn't feel like a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
it just feels like shit. So, yeah.
Same thing with the Resistance. That was. I played the Resistance trilogy.
You're
That
waiting for
was
your blood to
nuts.
pump. You're waiting for like some excitement to come, and the whole time you're just like, man,
Give me another hour. Something's gonna happen.
nothing. Like
And
explosions are happening, and
how-
I just feel nothing.
How bad were the Chimera in that game? Like they were retarded.
Yeah,
They
would stand there for a while.
They had no AI, like the
And-
AI
yep.
intelligence was
Here
ridiculous.
goes with the AI again.
Because it's so dumb.
It's always on the AI.
They're like looking the wrong way and just shooting the wall. I'm standing over there. What are you
is-
doing, dude?
What does the A stand for?
Artificial intelligence, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
No, I just-
A and the I.
Bing,
Yeah,
bing,
yeah.
bing, 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 high five.
The Daily Double.
I don't know. I was like, I thought it was a trick question.
No, it
I was
wasn't.
like, I make video games. I know the technical
No,
terms.
no.
Next question.
All right. Our last question comes from Andrew Dillon.
What's up, Andrew?
Yes, Andrew.
He said, "What is your favorite video game commercial?"
Oh, easy.
All time?
The
Yeah.
original Legend of Zelda NES commercial. You know, the one where he got the, whoa, did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter? Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get a hold of that game. This is actually the commercial.
Yeah.
You have to watch it if you haven't seen it. That was awesome.
Yeah, a favorite video game
I got
commercial.
mine. I was just waiting
Go.
for anybody to
Go.
spin. Mine is the PS1. Crash Bandicoot standing outside of Nintendo's headquarters with the megaphone, just yelling at them.
I remember that.
That's my all-time favorite
Wow.
video game commercial.
You got one, sir?
Yeah, I would say mostly because it was just when I was like really getting into gaming. But Halo 3.
Okay.
When they first started doing like the realistic kind of commercials, and I think it was at the Super Bowl where they showed the bubble shield commercial with the missiles coming at him, and this never happens in the game, but you throw the freaking bubble shield down, and you're like, what is that? I've never seen that in this game. It's a new item. That's crazy. But like it just looked freaking incredible, and it's just it was that combination of I was just getting super into stuff. I love sci-fi. And it just blew my mind that I like ran outside of the house screaming, like arms flailing,
It's like double shield, double shield.
and I'm sure
And hit
people-
by a car.
Yeah.
I forgot to throw it down. Damn it!
And I'm sure people looking outside like, the fuck's a bubble shield? Is that a new sex toy? What?
I definitely have mine. Mine would actually be some of the newer PlayStation 3 commercials where they have the all of them walk into a bar.
Yes.
Michael?
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
was a really nice one. Seeing all the characters in one like bar together was kind of cool.
But you actually do feel like they're talking about you because you're like, I
Yeah,
played
they do.
all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And
Kevin,
then they pan off and you just see
The Kevin
all the
Butler
pictures of
commercials as
everybody.
well.
Kevin Butler was funny.
I can't think of any old school stuff, but I want to go with the All-Star Battle Royale commercial where you see Kratos get his ass beat by a sack boy.
Yeah.
They're all scared.
Yes,
Him and Nate Drake are like cowering in the corner.
It was the Robot Chicken one, right?
No, it was after, and they made like a semi-live action one.
Oh, okay.
And Kratos and Nathan Drake are just sitting there having coffee and stuff, and they're like, "Man, he really beat us or whatever." Like,
Yeah, it was
man,
like-
he's
Is this the one with Jack and
they're-
Rico?
yeah, they're like, man, he's really intimidating.
Robot Chicken one.
And you're like, no, it wasn't Robot Chicken. They're like, and
They
you're like,
did
you're
an
like,
actual commercial for it.
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
you're like, who are they talking about? Because Kratos and Nate Drake are just like, oh my god, he really
Yeah.
beat the snot out
Yeah,
of us.
they're being sack
And then you see them kind of like shake off and get scared in the corner, and you're like, who is it? And then you see Sackboy come And they're like, "Whoa, dude!"
Yep.
That actually in the new one for God of War where you actually
The live action one.
Yeah, we actually start seeing someone playing as Kratos, and then he lifts up his daughter and just turns to ash. I was like, what the fuck?
Andrew?
I haven't really seen much on commercials. Commercials and trailers.
Okay.
I guess at best, the only thing I can remember offhand, the Bad Company trailers.
Yes.
Those are cool.
Those
too.
are good.
Yes. Oh, okay. Anybody else?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
I
Go ahead,
also-
because you know I'm going to be here for a minute.
I also really, really, really liked this one. I don't think people anywhere else care, but us being from Chicago and me being a Cubs fan, I actually really like the MLB the show 12.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what are they doing? And it's just
right.
it's the
Those
entire
are so good.
It's the entire city of Chicago just
They
going
came out with
nuts.
the third one.
And they're like, the Cubs. What are you talking about?
Like months afterwards, they came out with
I
the
didn't
third.
know there was a second one.
Yeah, they came out with 3 of them.
And anyway,
They're
it's just,
good.
it's just
Watch
it's,
them
if
all.
you've never seen it, it's under the PlayStation channel on YouTube, and
It's a
it's just
pretty emotional.
yeah, it's Chicago just going nuts because the Cubs won the World Series, and you're like, what is going on? And everybody's celebrating, and then it just pans to the guy holding the DualShock controller crying because he won it in the game.
It's just the epitome of fantasy sports.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's exactly what it is.
I actually just got chills.
You remember that shit? Right? That was a good commercial.
Yes.
That was a good commercial.
All right, we ready? All right, going back to early 90s, the old Funko-Land commercials where the two hands
my
would come
God.
out of the TV. Okay. All right, that's one. Okay. This is a two-part. There was the American Link to the Past commercial, which was fucking awesome. When he's like swimming through in the gate and everything, and then the Japanese commercial.
With the dancing?
The girl and all the dancing.
Which we used for Song of the Week a couple months back. Yes, there's that one.
so bad.
Yeah, it was. It was. There is kind of what got my interest in Gears of War was the Mad World trailer for Gears 1.
That was great.
With Marcus running down
Yeah.
the empty street, and
Yeah.
you're just seeing the eyes and the song playing and everything. And then I've talked about it before, but the commercial sold me the game, which I didn't give two shits about. Transformers. Or
Cybertron?
Fall of
Cybertron.
Cybertron.
Yeah.
I don't like Transformers. Didn't like them in the 80s. Didn't care about them.
Right.
Saw that trailer and I was like, I want to fucking play that. There's a giant dinosaur.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's another one that I don't remember if it was Nintendo or Sega back in the day. They were playing some game and it just got them so messed up and they just started shaking and he got electrocuted and then his hair
64 commercial.
was in and then his hair was in the air and they're like, "Ah!" And I don't remember. It was fucking.
Yeah.
I think the last one before we switch topics, I think is just going to be like the most memorable one. I think from like high school years for me, like early high school, was Super Smash Brothers commercials. Just because like seeing,
Mario, like,
I was like, why are all these Nintendo characters beating the crap out of each other? But it was so awesome.
They were walking, and then Mario just sticks his foot out, and the
Yep. And then you see the commercial, and you're like, "What is this?" Like it was a brand new idea, and just like I remember the first time going over to my friend's house after seeing that commercial, and just be like, "This game's fucking amazing."
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah.
A lot of good Zelda ones that I didn't even mention.
yeah.
As always, we want to thank everybody who over the past year has sent in questions and comments and kind of kept us going and gave me a section to talk about. So we want to thank you guys.
Special thanks to all the
Yeah.
regulars.
Yeah.
We do have
The Gmail regulars.
a handful of people that maybe
And
not every
YouTubers.
week, but they're pretty
Yeah.
regular.
Thank you
Pretty
for
regular.
reaching out and listening to our bullshit.
Yeah. Are you all second?
That's
sir?
it. That's
that
it.
brings us up to Tony's topic of the week. Na 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 na.
Remix.
Today, we are going to be kind of breaking down an exclusives discussion. I know with a lot of what's happening lately with kind of the Wii U having kind of weak sales because non-Nintendo parties, they really haven't come out yet and stuff like that. And I kind of thought this would be fitting, and especially looking forward into the PS4 and the 720 with their inevitable launches later this year, what kind of exclusives they're bringing to the table. Just kind of sit around and bullshit about it for a little bit. So, any initial thoughts from anybody?
I
I need
actually
more
think,
exclusives.
Yeah.
I think we have exclusives are very, very important in the first calendar year to 18 months. I think the exclusives that the 360 had in 2007 and 2008 really won them this gen. A lot of games eventually came over to the PS3, but like late. Mass Effect being one of them. I think BioShock was another one. Gears.
BioShock, they got 2 full years later.
So, the PS3 did have, I think the PS3 has far superior exclusives overall, but they didn't have them early. They didn't have them at launch or within that first few years, and thus Microsoft sort of won all these neutral people early on. So I actually think they're still very important, and I think they're the only reason why Nintendo still exists.
I have a big section on it later too. It's good you brought that up. I like it.
I think we're looking towards the future. I think because you just mean exclusives in general.
I have like bullet points, but in general, just make some broad
well,
whatever.
I was thinking as you know, I bought the Wii U when it first came out and kept it for about 3 weeks maybe.
Beat Mario Brothers.
It's $500 to play Mario, dude. That's what it was.
Nintendo Land.
Yep.
Okay.
Batman.
He's the one that I played his Wii U. That's how I have hands-on time with it.
I liked it, but I was like, for me to buy it again. I guess I resold it for like the full price. I got all my money back basically, but for me to really buy it again, there's so many amazing exclusives that they haven't tapped into that I think just like things, even like Game Boy Advance games and DS games, that now that they have the touchscreen, man, they could just open it up like Advance Wars. Like if they made an awesome tactical like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars for the Wii U, I'd be there in a second. I mean, there's so many awesome Nintendo exclusives like that I just don't even see on the radar. I know it's still early, but I mean, I haven't heard whispers or anything like that. So I know for them, I think that's going to be a big maker or breaker. I think if they start tapping into that old stuff that we haven't seen for since only on handheld or since Game Boy Advance or DS, I think they pull in a lot more.
All right, so Mas, you think they're still very important. What do you think? Basically.
Yeah.
They're still really important. Tyler, do you want to say anything real quick?
I like exclusives, especially with.
Not if we like them. We all love
I know,
exclusives.
I know.
Are they, like if they're important still?
I can see them being important, especially for those people that are on the fence about which system to get, especially for when PS3 and 360 first came out. My dad's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a 360," and then like a year later, out of nowhere, there's a PS3 in my entertainment center, hooked up and everything. I'm like, okay, but the one thing that caught his eye was this. Was Lair. That and Blu-ray.
Oh, Lair, what a pile of garbage.
He loves dragons.
Yeah. No, I thought it was going to be cool, too. It was a pile of shit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think exclusives are... Yeah.
Andy?
That why it costs $2? Sorry.
Exactly.
I
180
never
with the power-up card.
thought much on it, but I'd actually have to say they are important. It's partially what you brought up. It's like, get them out early enough that can actually help people make decisions that I think can be a factor. And also, too, when, I'm thinking, exclusives, like Gears of War, what was it, Heavy Rain, those games are, unique and special to themselves. Where it's first thing that comes to me with, non-exclusives, Call of Duty, you're tired of it by now.
Yeah.
And so I think to help, games in general, exclusives are needed to, give a different viewpoint on games rather than seeing the exact same thing over and over and over each generation.
Cool.
I will agree with that one. Exclusives, each one definitely has a very unique, part of the company, I guess. Because you'll have your shooter. Generally, you'll have a racer, some kind of other adventure game, possibly. So they definitely bring another, piece to the puzzle for them.
Yeah.
I don't think of those as being important first part exclusives. I think you were basically hitting on Forza and Gran Turismo with the
I was
racing.
just thinking who has an answer to each game series basically.
I think those games, granted I'm not a big fan of them, but I'd be fine if they were both multi-platform or neither, or just there was only one. I don't really. I mean, that's like a sports game to me. And aren't the baseball games exclusive as well?
No,
just
one's
the
available
show
on
is.
both, and one's just PS3.
Okay,
Yeah.
so one is like a pseudo. Well, one's an exclusive.
Yeah.
And the other one's probably more Xbox fans, probably just naturally.
Well, anybody in their right mind would go get the show. if
Anyone
they had a
who comes
PS3.
in with the PS3
Yes.
asking which baseball game to get, I always say the show.
Okay.
No, if you have the option, you go the show. If
Yeah.
you have an Xbox and PS3,
Yeah.
it's night and day.
When I think of the first part, not first part, but exclusives, I don't think of that. Those racing games are like sports
Yeah,
games. to
well,
me,
I
but-
mean, it was basically like, I mean, when you think shooters for Microsoft, you have Halo and
Halo and
Gears.
Gears.
And for Sony, you're going to have
Killzone.
Resistance, Killzone,
Uncharted
a little bit with its shooting, I suppose.
they have more non-shooter.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't
they
really
still have
consider
SOCOM, I
Uncharted.
suppose.
PS3 has a vast arsenal. Of,
Yeah, I mean, they'll still
exclusives.
double basically anything Microsoft has.
Yeah.
For me, one exclusive on PlayStation sold me my PlayStation, and that was Twisted Metal.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I think they are important, and that's it. Exclusives are system sellers.
Yeah. For me, I think they are important, but I think they're becoming less and less important, especially for the Sony versus Microsoft thing. Nintendo, they're very, very important. I know we're going to cover that later. I agree with you. If it wasn't for their 10 major IPs that Nintendo makes in-house, I think Nintendo would be probably gone. But those 10 things sell 100 million units after a while because everybody wants those games. But if we're talking just PS3 and Xbox, I think it's becoming, as time's passing, less and less like important. I think Microsoft knows that, and I know we give them a lot of shit about not having off IPs, but I think they are kind of seeing the future, and they're not too concerned about it. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But as of now,
Talking about like more like the timed exclusive stuff.
they're doing different things that are making people want the Xbox.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I know.
I mean, if you look at it from an American standpoint, or North American, excuse me, the 360 decimates all here. The Wii probably has more sales overall,
But
that's because
weekly playtime would go to
it bombed exploded that first
Yeah.
year, and everything else has just been playing catch up. And I don't even know if Wii, when it's all said and done, will be the
It
most.
won't. In fact, I was looking at this. This is going to be a cool thing.
They're catching it. The
But-
Xbox and PS3. They're right behind
Xbox
it.
already overtook Wii in Europe, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one actually.
Yeah, that was what the news from last week was.
I think, but when things are all said and done, it's the Wii wins Japan. Sony
Yeah.
PS3 is going to win Europe,
and America's
and
gonna be-
Microsoft's
Yeah.
going to win. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Well,
actually.
yeah,
I like
so,
that.
Sony's in Europe, but
Yeah.
Xbox has been in third place for Europe for a long time. But it's either now, when the sales report comes in at the end of the month, Xbox is expected to take over Wii for lifetime sales in Europe.
Well, the thing with me is, I mean, you look at something like North American, sure, maybe you have that buy American mentality, but I don't really think that accounts for as many as it really is. You look at Xbox, we make fun of it all the time. What do they really have? They got Forza, Gears, and Halo.
Yeah.
So where's the logic behind them selling more consoles than PS3 or Wii? I'm starting to think the exclusives don't have.
Well, it's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
I think they won it early on. They
Yeah,
won it with Mass Effect.
I never thought of that,
BioShock,
and that's brilliant thinking. That never even crossed my mind what you were saying.
Because you're forgetting about the ones that came out a while back, and I don't know. I think that the most important thing to me with those exclusives is just that it keeps it alive. I guess the like camaraderie, rivalry between the fans and the companies themselves of the three companies. Because I think you lose those exclusives, and we're gonna start. I guess the big picture, is I'd be afraid of it becoming a monopoly. One console winning it out completely, and then you don't have a choice. And that's the biggest thing is when you take away choice. Now one company gets to set all prices, and you have one standard rather than having a choice between them. And I think if we don't keep those exclusives and have incentives to buy each system, I'm not saying you have to own every system, but for a while I only had an Xbox, but now I get an Xbox and a PS3, and I usually use Nintendo for handhelds for the most part. But I like that diversity of having those different choices.
But do you still think that the console war going forward is really going to be the same console war in the way that we're looking at it right now?
As far as the exclusive games themselves having huge impact?
Just the entire electronic industry as a whole. I feel that we're moving closer and closer to a unified experience with the consoles, where exclusives are going to be. If you look forward to the PS4 and the Xbox 720, the people have already
compatible.
The people have already they've already come out and said that they are very, very similar in construction.
Yeah.
So the only things that are going to be keeping it separate is the online play and the exclusives.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't think it's that going forward, right now it still
And
is.
Xbox won't have a Blu-ray player.
Yeah, right now it still is, but going forward, I don't think it's going to be Microsoft versus Sony versus Nintendo. I think it's be Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo versus tablets,
Yeah.
versus PCs, versus
what you're saying,
versus phones or whatever,
I don't know.
versus
PC
Facebook.
is still outsell all you.
You know what I mean? Like they got to compete with Facebook and Zynga and shit. I think
Nah.
it's I don't think it's the
Zynga's
same.
gonna be gone in under a year probably.
I don't think it's the same world it was in the '80s where all these companies just despised each other.
Yeah.
I think
Much
they're all
better.
playing for the same team now. And I
Zynga's
think
shares are down like.
I think we are
55%.
gonna. I think we are gonna move more toward a unified experience eventually.
Right.
Maybe a couple generations away.
That's right. PC will push you forward.
Well, I still think there's
Forward
the
compatible.
like
Yeah.
Microsoft takes a different view on exclusives. They have like pseudo exclusives, like games that release on the other system, but
They get
it's better on
enforced.
Xbox because of timed DLC or time. The Call of Duty is the prime example.
Yeah.
If you are here in North America, it's all about social gaming. That's all. That's why Call of Duty is so big. Everybody like most of the time, kids like high schoolers or college kids, they're playing Call of Duty because their friends are playing it. Sometimes they don't even care about the actual game they're playing. They're just there to chat on the mic, and they happen to be playing Call of Duty. And if all your friends are playing that, and you're going to get the maps 1 month earlier, that's a big difference. You know, you're
Or
missing.
you have in some like Skyrim where there's the DLC issue, but then there's also the whole the memory and the way it reads and everything is completely different on both systems.
Because the PS3 was
Yeah, like what did Microsoft pay for Skyrim DLC early? I don't know what they.
that was a big
I-
waste of money because
yeah.
it never ran right on the PS3.
Yeah, no, they didn't even need to make it exclusive.
They should just leave
I know.
Bethesda alone. Bethesda can't figure out how to program for the PS3. You don't have to pay for the exclusives. Just let everybody see how broken it is on the
This
PS3.
Japanese piece of shit. What do we do?
We don't get it.
Yeah, but it was just the idea that if you get most of us here are kind of spoiled with our consoles. We can afford to buy 2, 3,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
I
almost
have
five
everything.
if you count the handhelds.
If I don't eat for a week.
I don't have a Vita. It's the only thing I don't own this gen.
Yeah, so, but you got to think of this from perhaps somebody who's not as wealthy or somebody who's younger,
Where
where
has to rely on a
Right.
Christmas present. That's it.
Exactly.
they have to
yeah.
wait 2-3 years into a console's life cycle to get one console.
Right.
Yeah, and to them,
Which the nice thing is that the games are like $10 by that point, but
yeah. But to them, it's a big decision. Like for us, like imagine if you had to choose where I can get Forza and Halo and Gears, but that means I will never be able to play fully Uncharted, Heavy Rain, and all.
That's a good point.
That's
I
like-
can't even think about
See,
that.
that brings me into a big rant with Sony, though. Is Sony...
But same thing with you wouldn't be able to play Mario and Star Fox and Metroid Prime and Zelda. And
But you might not
Pokemon.
know what you're missing, which is what I feel a big problem is with Sony, and it's a different story because their advertising is atrocious. But they have
And their release schedule.
the biggest diversity, and in my opinion, the best exclusives.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But for a Sony game to sell 2.5 million copies
crazy.
is like, wow, that game did awesome.
Yeah.
And that's pathetic.
Yep.
That's
They,
like
they have an exclusive launching every month almost.
Yep.
You know, and stuff like Starhawk probably sold like 200,000 copies.
So Microsoft just builds hype like freaking crazy, man.
You got Sly 4. If you're not hitting refresh on IGN and joystick and shit all day long,
yeah.
nobody even knew that game was coming out. And that's a $40 game. $40 for a brand new game that comes with a Vita and a PS3 game, and it's excellent. It's getting all 8s and 9s. Nobody knows that game's even in existence. That's fucking messed up.
Yep.
I don't know.
no, it is right with you're saying like if they sell over 2 million copies, that's considered a huge success for them. When
With
an
the
Xbox-
exception of God of War and
Yeah.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Because those
will sell.
Those games do
And Uncharted,
crazy.
we looked at this. A few
Uncharted,
months
I think it only sells 3-4 million copies.
Yeah.
That, for a PlayStation exclusive, that's like, wow.
That's amazing.
That game did
Yeah.
insane.
But
They
for an
look at this,
Xbox
I think
game,
it hit
they have
5.
like 10 games
We're
a year
doing
that sell
years.
over like 2 million, I think. Is
Huh?
it? For an Xbox, they have like 10 games a year that sell usually over around 2 million.
Well, with Xbox, I think it's a little different because, like we're saying, you're only backing 3 games, and they're usually on 2-year
Yeah.
development cycles. So you're only pushing a game every 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Between Halo, Gears, or Forza, and Microsoft is so much better at this than everyone.
Well, they put their name on the third-party games too. Like after the trailer plays, you'll get the Xbox symbol. They'll
they
say
always-
available
yeah,
on
they-
all, but the second after that,
Yeah, you
have
hear the
Xbox
green
symbol.
thing with the
You hear the sound,
Yeah.
and it's just
Microsoft just does it, and you go to movies, and you'll
I
see.
feel like Sony used to have better advertising with like PS1.
Sony was
there's
awesome
so
at
much
it,
more
yeah.
memorable stuff. I remember the sound and the PS logo before and after everything, and you know.
Do you remember the Resistance 3 commercial? Of course not. But you remember
There was a
Crash.
commercial?
You remember Crash Bandicoot from 1995.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's
I
how
remember
messed up it is, dude.
Like Spyro commercials
Spyros
were
were
awesome,
good.
and Twisted Metal commercials, and like there was just I can almost off the top of my head like tell you in order. I remember when I saw them and where I saw them, and you know it's.
But did you see a Twisted Metal commercial for this new one that came out last year? Maybe once.
I don't think
They didn't push that game out, and it's Twisted Metal. That game
I
could
know.
have. That game could have pushed 10
And
million
they
units
didn't
if
even
you
any
advertised.
advertising, but I didn't even see it on like Hulu or like online things.
Nobody
like
cares.
TV, online, it was absent like almost everywhere.
Sony is so bad at it. It's sad because they send these games out to fucking die.
I know.
They really do. These games, like I
This
don't
is why
think
this-
Sly
yeah.
Cooper's gonna do anything. It's an awesome game, and those guys, who are they? What's the company's name? SA. That one thing with the guy with the two eyes, and one's a plus symbol and one's a negative, and it's a green face.
Is it the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkeys?
No.
And they hate each other. No, they hate each other, and then they make the.
But this is
That's
why
not
we
what I'm talking
see.
about.
This is why we see so many studios being shuttered now. It's because of that. Because you see something like PlayStation All Stars where it just doesn't sell.
That game didn't get pushed either.
No,
I
they
know.
didn't
That's what I'm
all.
saying, and that should have.
I didn't see anything
That
on
should have been
that.
pushed like fucking crazy, man.
The thing is, it's like there's no association with half of these mascots either.
Yeah.
They don't have the power
Yeah.
Nintendo has. Nintendo, I brought this up a couple weeks ago. Mario is a more recognizable character to children under 10 than Mickey Mouse.
Kirby,
That's
even Kirby, who's
crazy.
like
Hasn't had a
right,
huge
he's
release in a while.
He's way more of a spin-off from
By
Nintendo
2011 maybe?
But I
They
mean,
had
we're talking like he had a
Mass Attack?
cartoon, and he had
Epic Yarn.
kids
Epic
recognize
Yarn,
him
that's what it was,
way
kinda.
more. I would have kids come into GameStop and be like, "I want the game with the little pink ball."
Yeah, because they
Guy.
understand that. They understand
Yeah,
it.
they know what that is.
But then,
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah.
then you look at the PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale cast, and you're like, who the fuck is Cats?
Or the Ape Escape kid.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
why
I
are these
remember
people in
him,
this game? No,
Yeah.
Nobody associates. I know they're PlayStation branded people, but why didn't they throw Crash in that
Why
game?
isn't Spyro in there?
Why isn't Spyro in that? Was a
Oh
PlayStation?
well, we know why.
Speaking of-
but
Because Activision
No,
bought it.
DLC, they're throwing Crash in.
I don't think
Oh,
that's
they are.
confirmed. I think that's a rumor.
not for the first one at least. But yeah.
No, the first
'Cause
two
the first
are-
two are
The dude from Starhawk and
yes,
Cat.
yeah.
But
Cat.
it's just it's weird. It's
Which
weird.
are two games, by the way, that also sold like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way,
I don't know.
Sanzaru. was-
Tanzaro, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, and do you see the little plus and minus symbol for the
Yes.
eyes? That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else wanted to? I know I was kind of went into a little Sony thing. Sorry.
Yeah, turn
No,
it
I'm
off.
cool.
You
I wish
thought it was
Sony would do more.
Yeah.
I had been pushing my friends to get the next PlayStation instead of Xbox just because I'd rather play exclusives and still have Borderlands and whatever else the heck to play with.
I'm gonna do them both, but it's
That's
the
because
same
you go
thing. I
both
do
ways.
everything. Everything multi-platform. I play on Xbox because all of you guys are on Xbox.
Yeah.
But I use my PS3 for exclusives because they fucking.
Let me ask you this, guys. Were you all on PS2? Was
Yeah.
everybody here
Yeah.
PS2?
Yeah.
Did anybody here? I had an original Xbox. I didn't have a PS2.
I had them both. Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
I
I
did
had 'em
not
both.
have an original Xbox.
I had both.
We all changed over.
Mhm.
Because why?
They launched first.
They launched first, and
Online.
I got mine.
I got mine for because my clan, my friends I was playing with,
That's why I got mine. My friends
decided to play Perfect Dark Zero.
For the online, yeah.
Yeah, and that was, and then I got rid of it about 2 years later.
My friends were
Right.
playing Xbox 360. That's what got me to buy mine.
That's-
Off of Angry
well,
Eddie.
somebody started this ripple effect.
I blame him because I bought his.
This segues perfectly into my next point of why I'm thinking exclusives are starting to matter less and less. Not so much that there's exclusives, but I think it's more the ecosystem that stuff's tied into.
Well, yeah, it
It's-
is that, but something has to start it. That's the thing. Look, this time next year, assuming the consoles launch this fall,
Yeah.
there's only going to be 4 or 5 million of these consoles out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, us 7, probably
get 'em.
each of us might have one of them.
Yeah, probably.
But amongst all active gamers, like 1 out of every 30 are going to have a
Probably.
new system. So this, what you were saying, the ecosystem, that is on the 360 right now. And when Call of Duty comes out this year, of your 50 friends, maybe 48 of them are going to get it on the 360, and 2 of them might get it on a different system. Okay, so everybody's still going to play it on the current gen. I think the next gen, there will be some overlap where some people will be like, oh, I'm a Microsoft person, so I'll just get the Microsoft system. Carry over your gamer tag, your gamer score, and all that stuff.
Friends list, yeah, all that stuff.
But I think there will be another person who says maybe they'll get their system 6 months to a year after release, and they say, oh, well, I can get this, and this on Sony that I can't get on Microsoft. I think that's why Microsoft won last gen, and I think there's more factors than just the whole, this is what I got, these are what my friends get, since I don't think it's decided what all of your friends are going to get yet.
Yeah. I don't know, because, like, I know everybody in this room, with the exception of Tyler, is for sure getting the 720.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the specs.
Unless-
Nothing's confirmed for the PS4 or the 720. They're not even, in quotations, in existence yet. These things aren't even real. And I already know they're all getting the 720.
With the exception of me, if I can
Just 'cause of
convert enough of my friends,
Halo
I would rather get a
5.
PlayStation. I would. If I can get enough of my friends convert, I would buy PlayStation day one instead of an Xbox.
I didn't know.
I have.
Possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
That's
spend
like
that much
perfect
in one
world. It's
day.
like get both.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is I will not convert enough of my friends where I think it'd be worthwhile.
Thinking of
Plus,
Soul Gears.
Right.
the only
Fresh
time we've
games.
ever had a LAN event in the last 8 years has been for Halo.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Yep.
big things that would keep me back as well, is if I can get enough of my friends to go over, and then what game would we LAN with? Because that's a big thing we do like 2 times a year.
We've done that in an apartment building, like with Halo 3 when it came out. We had 4 apartments all
Yeah.
lined up.
The only one we have not landed yet is 4, and literally
Running
do
300-foot
all of them.
Ethernet cables.
Hell yeah, dude. Up the stairs, out the window. Yeah.
Over the roof, it was just easier that way. I don't know.
See, but here's the thing. I mean, you got, obviously the Halo Gears, Forza. And then Sony, we've established they have more, but it's still not insane. It's like, what do they got? Maybe 15.
What game could I LAN with that?
I'm just saying, if you look at it, all the games that come out throughout the course of a life cycle, okay, 99.5% of them are available on both platforms.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that it's also the de facto exclusive. Like, stuff like, I know PS3, up until recently, I know Xbox just got NHL Game Center. But you look stuff at like that, like Xbox was the first one to have Netflix. Then when the other
And-
consoles caught up,
Yeah.
they were the first ones to have discless Netflix, where you didn't have to insert the disc. And that brought a lot of people over
I
Xbox.
never had to have a disc. Oh wait, for Xbox, you'd have a disc for PS3. Is that what we said?
And we
And I knew about the Wii. I didn't know about PS3.
Then they
actually.
became discless.
Oh, okay.
Then-
PS3 it took like a month.
What?
Like after PS3 was after it was on the list of what what systems you can use for Netflix. A month later they went discless. Wii was like 4 or 5 months later.
Okay, I don't remember it that well. But then, so Sony combated that by going into signing exclusive. They have, like, in North America over here, we got the 4 major sports. Sony had as a deal with all of them. They got the MLB one. They got
NHL,
Yeah.
NBA.
whatever that thing's called.
What's the other major sport?
And football's NFL season pass.
Oh,
And they had
yeah, I
access
forgot that one.
to all 4 of them on your PS3, whereas up until recently, Microsoft only had access to
MLB
and basketball, right?
and was it basketball?
They
I guess.
still don't have NFL,
They
and,
still don't have
they
NFL.
finally signed NHL. So I think there's like these different,
PS3's also got like that Amazon instant streaming service that
and they've
uses,
had,
but-
and PS3 had Hulu Plus for years, and Xbox just got Hulu Plus.
right.
So I mean, there's like these different ways that they're not exclusive games.
It's becoming like apps, like with an iPhone
Who's
versus
got-
like an Android. Like iPhone will only have certain games, but people want Androids because it's more open source. So like you can do, you can emulate stuff or
Yeah.
do things that you can't do with an iPhone. So it's becoming like
I love my
which one has
emulators.
which apps you're going to use. Because if you're looking at it from like a family standpoint, I know like whenever we're at GameStop and someone's buying a system and it's a parent, they're like, well, which system should I get? Should I get a PS3 or an Xbox? Like, what are you going to use it for? If you're using it to stream, if you're just going to use it for like Netflix and Hulu, stuff like this, and you'll play some games, but you're really using it to like watch movies or do media, stuff like that,
Get a PS3.
Get a PS3. Because you get a Blu-ray player, you don't have to pay for the online, and you get to do all that.
Yeah.
So it's becoming where like I think that is a big selling point when it comes to not necessarily hardcore gamers, but families, parents, things like this, is they're looking for the apps. They're looking for what's going to be most cost effective and what they're going to be able to do the most multimedia with.
And that's why, like what I was saying earlier, we're starting to tie into what my earlier thing was, that I think it's It's really getting away from what games are drawing people in. It's,
Yeah.
It's this whole thing.
Tablet-y thing again now.
It's this whole thing.
It's
It's
apps.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have apps. We have your friends list already. We have this exclusive. We're getting DLC content earlier than the other guy, and now Sony's starting to combat that with going after Battlefield, but they did it very poorly because they only got access for 1 week. So, are you kidding? Go after them and get it for a month, dude. Give them a reason. Pick. If you want to play Battlefield, you're coming to PS3. If you want to play COD,
I remember
go to
seeing
Microsoft.
headlines like it was important. I guess it just
1 week.
as a
That's so
gamer,
stupid.
As a gamer, it killed me. But like when I saw articles like, oh, Xboxers like PS3, one of them was like, oh, we're getting an exclusive first Facebook and Twitter support, like shit like this, and I'm like,
Don't
why
care.
what do I care about that?
Adding on to that, I believe it's this week. Xbox for the first time with Netflix, you do not need to be gold anymore.
Really?
It was either this week or last week it happened. Already.
Wow, about
That's a
damn
surprise.
time.
I know.
Wow, that was the biggest bullshit I've
I
ever
know,
seen when
yeah.
I got my
Yeah,
Xbox
yeah.
and I hooked up and I had to get this.
Either this upcoming
That's
week or
incredible.
it's already done. You do not need to be gold to use Netflix anymore.
See, I
Wow.
forget that's a thing because I've been gold.
Yeah,
for so long.
I know, but for
I've
some
been
people
gold
that is a
longer
lot.
than I've had Netflix.
Yeah.
I got
Wow.
Netflix
Yeah, me
after,
too,
so
me
it's
too.
just like I don't even think that.
Yeah,
That never
but
bugged
for
me.
other people,
That's
you can
big.
finally do it.
That's-
I guess.
oh,
I just remember it because it was hell selling at GameStop the systems, and you're trying to tell the parent, oh, you have Netflix, you pay for that, that's great. Oh, you want an Xbox? Oh, you also have to pay for Xbox Live and the internet connection.
And
so you're
Netflix.
paying for 3 subscriptions just to watch Netflix on your TV.
Yeah, it's like nuts, man. I don't know. Keep going. I got some stuff, but
All right, what stuff you got?
actually, I used that one already.
Oh, he's running out.
We'll wrap up the show now.
So you were not sure what bullet points we touched.
That's
so you were
I was trying to catch up, and I was gonna start crossing shit out. And I was trying to stall, but you guys totally caught me. You guys,
Yeah.
bastards. How about yourself, Jace? I haven't heard much from you.
I haven't had a point to make yet.
Well, one thing about this whole Netflix and Hulu and all this Mickey Mouse stuff,
Damn it, Mickey Mouse app.
it's gotten so universal where they're fighting over like the crumbs
One or
of
two
the
licenses now.
bag of
Sports.
chips at this point, where none of this stuff that they're getting now is going to sell people, I don't think, because a lot of them, they do almost everything the same. Netflix by itself was big if that was exclusive, but obviously it's not. It's on all of them. Same with Hulu, same with all this stuff. So all the big pieces are everywhere. So I think the little things they do to diversify themselves is not as important, I think, anymore moving forward. So I think it actually, differing what you were saying, Tony, I think it's actually going to go back to games because games are the things that are going to diversify them. Whereas I think internet will become more comparable in the next gen, and I think all these apps and everything is more comparable. The specs are more comparable. Everything is more comparable, except the exclusives. So that's still what I think what will be a driving force.
Yeah, I think Xbox, the only thing that app-wise and all that kind of stuff that I think really stood out to me as being somewhat cool and somewhat, I guess, something I would actually use ended up being like the smart glass thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
I actually find myself using that a lot more than what I thought I would.
Yeah.
here.
Well, like, and even like when you're sending a message,
That's how I message.
I tried it twice. It's terrible.
what? No,
I
I
hate
think
smart
it
glass.
depends on what you're using it with.
I'm trying to send a message.
Tablet or what?
That's
Oh no! You still have to use your controller to fucking type out letters and shit, which is dumb.
Really?
But yes.
That was the only
yes.
thing to do.
For
You
what?
go, if you go to like send a message,
You have the
through
Windows
guide
phone.
thing-
Yours is supposed to work.
No, but look, when I,
That's
when
supposed
I
to
go,
be a Windows phone
When I
exclusive.
go to send a message, you know what pops up? The freaking thing still stays as the D-pad with ABXY, and the keypad's up there on the screen, which means I still have to scroll left and right with the damn touchscreen.
That's a Windows phone thing. I send Tyler messages.
Yeah,
all
I
the
send-
time
I
from
send-
my Android.
Yeah,
So
I
I
do
can use it
too.
with
Through-
my tablet, fine then. I'll
Your
be
tablet
fine.
will work.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
no, it won't because Xbox is slacking on tablet support for Smart Glass, which was the whole point of Smart Glass. I didn't want it on my screen like this.
Mine works fine on my
Nobody cares.
my
Apple
iPad.
sucks.
Oh, hey, good job buying your Windows phone. You want to use it with your Windows Xbox? Too
No!
bad!
Wait till the next one.
No,
That's right.
Yeah, that's how mine looks. Yeah.
Watch.
That's on my list too, almost.
Oh no!
He's talking about using the smart glass as a controller,
Right.
Oh.
to send a message on your Xbox.
No,
Why would you do that? Just click on their name and hit message.
But that's the whole thing about smart glass, though. Is it's supposed to be this whole interconnected thing?
More like stupid glass.
Yeah. But I'm using it. It's like, I want to send a message. Exit smart glass. Go to your friends list. Then send a message. I'm like,
Mine's got this little thing in the corner
yeah,
that does that.
What?
So that like once I'm connected,
connect the Xbox.
No, that'll pull up my friends list on there too.
Oh,
Once it's connected. So
fancy.
so when I've got the little controller, I hit that and then it's got friends.
maybe
You
I
hit
can
that.
do it then, and I'm just dumb.
Mine just takes
It
too
could
long to
be.
connect, and I'm just like, I might as well just get up, go to my PC, and type it in.
Don't feel bad because he also likes to stalk me when I'm online with like. His
Oh, yeah,
phone
yeah,
account.
I do that all the time.
Because it's like I'll get random messages and it's like his gamer tag will never show online or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you talking to me? This is black magic.
I'll do it from work
I know,
too. I'm
I-
like, hey Andy, answer your fucking phone.
I don't know. I like to.
How do you know I'm not near my phone?
No, I like to do it to Tony, where I'll just be like, I won't send him a message through Xbox, but like text him. And I'll be like, I see you're watching The Office on Netflix. He's like, you're not online. How can you see that? I'm outside your window.
Change the channel. Turn up the volume a little bit.
That's why earlier when I mentioned, like, hey, Tony, what were you watching on Hulu Plus 7 hours ago?
Yeah.
What?
We're just talking about how we can stalk you with, without being on Xbox.
I got stalkers. It's cool. It's cool. So I wanted to bring up Nintendo in a minute or two here. And
How about right now?
We could do it right now.
Right about now.
Right now. I know we wanted to sort of hit on that if you wanted to kick them off. I know they're heavily reliant on exclusives.
Well, this has me scratching my head with third parties with Nintendo. I think third parties are scared for whatever reason to port their exact same game to the Wii U without changing their game for the Wii U. And I don't understand why.
I'm starting to hate the forced integration. I'm getting this a lot on Vita, which made me think about it, because I know the Wii U does that too. Just because it has a touchscreen, just because it does have tilt capabilities or an internal
Doesn't
gyro,
need-
you don't have to implement every single little thing that the thing can do. You don't have to do it. You can
Like a
just
Kinect.
Yeah, yeah. Like I actually credit the Kinect with thinking a little outside the box with like Skyrim with the shouting and stuff. At least you didn't make me dance in front of it like an idiot to kill a dragon. But like that's what I'm saying. Like do something.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
Tony,
That-
you played Ninja Gaiden Sigma on the Vita, correct?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that when you touch the screen, you cannot turn this off, this feature. You touch the screen, and it goes into first-person mode aiming with the bow, which is the most annoying shit ever because the buttons and the knobs are so fucking close to the screen
You're touching it
that,
accidentally.
if you have thumbs that are bigger than a 5-year-old's, like, shit, I'm constantly hitting it.
That's my problem with sniping. With sniping in Uncharted, because I'm hitting the stupid back touchpad,
I
and that's
hate it. Oh,
zooming the
God.
snipe in and out. It's like, why did you do it that way?
It's different if it's like, I didn't
My
actually buy the
hands are
game.
obviously going to be on the back of the Vita. That's how you hold it.
If we're playing a game that's like, say, Sly Cooper, and there's like a mini game, kind of like how they have, I think it was like with Little Deviants, where you're like touching the back of it to like roll the ball around. Like that's cool. I understand that you're doing a little mini game to like hack a computer, whatever. That's something. But when I'm in the middle of like heated battle and like it's fucking Ninja Gaiden and you got 20 fucking samurai around you about to decapitate you and you're like, shit, I touched it now, I'm aiming with the bow now, and then you're fucking dead. and then I go back to my checkpoint 20 minutes ago, and it's just.
But yeah, that whole forced integration, that's what the Wii U, like all these developers, it's like they feel they need to use the gamepad for something.
Yep.
Very few games I know that are third-party games that are multi-platform that just got, look at, I think Darksiders did this well actually because it has inventory screens on the
Right.
on the controller.
I
That's
saw that,
good.
yeah.
That's good. That actually is better.
Like when you want to play Zelda or something, that's what you want.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, I don't know what you thought about Batman on the Armored Edition.
I never used the controls on the screen, except I think there was one thing maybe that I had to do where they forced me to touch it or do something like that.
Hi for the
They
door.
made me touch it.
Touch it, Matt. Touch it.
What for the door
on, do
hacking?
it,
I
do
think
it.
right.
Yeah. It
The
was
door
like hacking
hacking,
and shit where you had
yeah.
to keep dragging your finger along
Yeah.
the stupid thing.
So you don't really use the gamepad much on Batman.
Just that. Well, you know what? But with how often you hack, you actually do. Because you have to keep doing that minigame where you're tracing this thing, and it's like every door you want to open or every secret that you need to unlock using this hacking device, you're constantly going down to it, and they're like, oh, it makes you feel like Batman. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't. It makes me feel like a cable man or some shit.
Was that in the PS3 versions, or is that something they added?
No, they still had the hacking, but you did it with the joysticks.
It was
so
a
you're
lot
just like
easier.
you would hold it one way or hold it this
easier.
way.
You just had to keep it in like
It was less
two
tedious,
set
too.
locations, and that was
Yeah.
it. It was really quick.
This we had to continuously keep tracing and touching.
Nothing new
and
tracing.
This is an example of unnecessary add-ons.
Exactly.
Like, granted, they were using that as a game to like highlight the system. I remember at E3.
Yeah, they
last
were.
year,
They
for
were big
whatever
into
reason.
the. You can now switch your gadgets with your
Yeah,
finger.
maybe
I
if they
just-
built from ground up, but
Yeah.
you know that game
I felt molested.
could have been.
I didn't want to touch it.
You could have. They could have just ported that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know what like Assassin's Creed uses on the Wii U if it has any additional.
Does it? I don't know what they would add either.
It was just like it was a map thing they had because I checked out every fucking game for the Wii U before I sold it within 25
map?
days. What's that?
Maps.
Yeah, you would have the map down there.
That's a little bit useful.
That's
'cause-
good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with Mass Effect, where it was a map. And the one thing that was useful, that it was optional again, though you didn't have to do this, and that was that when you are looking at the lower screen when you're playing, because you know with any of the Wii U games, you know you could just hold like the minus button or something, and it just slides the action on there, and you could just play it on that, and that would take away the whole point of the dual screen. But if you were playing on both screens, you could trace out. It would have Grunt and whoever's with you, and you can trace out the path that you want them to go and like defend. And that would take like a second.
Okay.
So I just look down and be like bam, bam, while the action's frozen for a second, and then unpause, let it go, and then it would go the exact direction, which is more useful than like say when you would aim the cursor and tell them where to go. And sometimes it wouldn't happen too often, but they'll run into a wall or they'll
Yeah.
get stuck behind something. And
So you
this
actually get to
eliminates that.
control the AI.
Right.
Well, see, that's good. That
Right.
type of integration improves.
But it was optional too.
But like, what I don't get, the biggest thing I don't get is, we talk about like a lot of these games, not so much games that came out last fall. I understand why they didn't come out to the Wii U because launch titles that something like Borderlands, for
It
example,
might be a waste of money or
yeah. But like games that are coming out now and over the course of the next 8, 9 this year,
It should be
basically.
simultaneous.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like. What are third-party games
Like
coming
Dead
out?
Space 3 should have already came out. Like I don't understand why. That
Yeah, and they
wasn't
didn't have
really-
to add features.
And then you got
Tomb
Tomb Raider.
Space
That
That
could have
Tomb
been
Raider.
inventory and a map.
These and then you got
Why is Tomb Raider not on the Wii U?
the Wii U is just as powerful as the current gen.
A lot of
consoles.
developers.
Because a buddy of mine has, not to interrupt you, Mark, but has a Wii U, got Darksiders, and he's watching Netflix on his 360 on the TV, and he's playing Darksiders on the controller.
Yeah.
It's that powerful.
Yeah. It takes some minor hits on visually.
Yeah.
There's some screen tears and whatnot, but it's good
Minor.
enough that like that was the
It's a
one thing.
calamity.
It's actually pretty minor. Because it's on the
Are
smaller
you kidding?
screen-
I was looking up at your 1080 screen and then down at your little handheld. Mario's fucking
yes.
awful compared to the nice. The thing is so
It's
nice
because
on
the
1080,
colors- yeah,
and they
the-
put like
you
a
can't-
480p screen on
I
the
know.
handheld.
What do you want a 1080p?
It's night and day. I'm just saying it's night and day.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, my
at
cell
the-
phone
at
looks
the
better
same
than
time,
the-
when I was playing Batman, for example, I could play it on there, and there would be minor differences, but it was fully playable, and it looked good enough that I wasn't like, oh, this looks like muddy shit.
It's a small screen, so you don't notice it.
Exactly.
I like it.
Matt Hayes has the greatest fucking lines. This little muddy shit. And what was your earlier one? That was great too.
Oh,
It's like-
charming shit.
This
Charming
is
is
charming as shit.
Gotta put that on every game.
I drink enough
Gears
Monster
of
and I
War,
just started
charming
throwing
as
that shit
shit.
in there,
Like the new Resident Evil game coming out, the port actually, the what's it called?
Revelations.
Revelations is coming out on Wii U, 360, and PS3.
Indeed.
I'm under the belief that it's probably going to be the exact same game on all 3 systems.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think every third-party game. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 should be on all the systems. I think all these games should be on all systems. It's very little work to be done. You don't even use the gamepad.
No, you don't.
Black
I
screen.
think from what a lot of developers have been saying is that
Force them to
they
use the
they,
Pro
they
Controller.
feel forced into using the gamepad for something, and you just don't need to do that. You can just.
Yeah, you don't have. It's neat, and
I don't think people know like
It's-
that you don't need to use it really at all. I think they're
There's got to be something else to
This-
it. There's no reason,
Yeah.
a logical reason why
it's not like
third-party
it
won't
was
do
with the original Wii, where like you would have Dead Space come out on the systems, and then they'd have to have some shitty spin-off called Dead Space Extraction,
Yeah.
which ends up being a crappy
Rail
motion
shooter.
control rail shooter, right? So Nintendo's now caught up. You can now do this finally, where you can simultaneously have it come out, and that's honestly good enough. I don't know what else you're looking for, what they're looking for. Like, we need to add all these features. You don't, because people who own the Wii U will now buy these games just because they can finally play them.
Yeah.
People who are hardcore Nintendo fans who only buy Nintendo systems can now finally play Call of Duty or can play these other games and not have them be a crappy on-rail shooter or dumbed-down version with motion controls.
And plus, for me, I'm a big Darksiders fan. I played it on Steam just because it runs better.
Yeah.
But all things considered, I'd rather have it on the Wii U just so I have that less cluttered.
Yep.
The screen, because you got your map and you have all your little add-ons down there. All it is the game up there. It's empty, and that alone for me is good enough. I mean, that's not a big change.
No HUD. HUD's down here. I'd be fine with that.
The HUD's, I believe, just their health and magic is up on the top. Besides that, I think that's clear.
It's a completely cleared up screen. Yeah, it's not cluttered.
There's no map in the corner.
No. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think besides all that, I think it's just health and magic.
I think it's just something at the beginning, because I know when the PS3 launched, they had the same problem with 6-axis, and everybody was trying to force that into the early PS3 games. And then after a while, people are just like, we don't have to do this. And
I hate balancing.
They stopped putting it in PS3 games, and it did nothing but help.
Uncharted 1, go against this log.
Yeah, then you
fall.
gotta sit there and hold it.
Then get back up and do it again.
Don't get defeated by gravity.
The problem the Wii U is going to face, I think, is by the time these third parties are like, hey, maybe what we're saying, hey, maybe we don't have to force all this crap on it. We could just make a regular game. I think by that time the new systems will be out and the third parties will move on to the more powerful hardware. So I think by the time they catch up, it might be a little late.
I'm still not sure about. We've had this conversation.
We're on different ends of the spectrum here.
I don't know if third parties in 2014 are going to be developing exclusively for. You think it's going to be a dead?
No, like a quick transition, like a 6 or 8 month period of.
See, I think more games in 2014 will come out on the 360 than the 720. Maybe even 2015. I think more games will come out on the 360 than the 720. Maybe that's just my belief.
We dropped support for it almost immediately once Wii U came out.
That was the Wii. That was the Wii.
Well, I mean, the same thing happened with Xbox to 360.
There's going to be a transition.
PS2, I think, was probably the only different one.
PS2 just got discontinued.
Well, I know, but
two
like
months
release-wise. Otherwise, the 2 out of the 3 major systems had it where they just kind of cut support within like.
Sony, don't worry, they'll support the PS3 for another.
Well, yeah.
We're in a different world right now. I think with gaming that I don't think we can compare it to any of the previous generations. I think a lot of that has to do with online play. A lot of that has to do with what we were talking about with the cross-play with the like Call of Duty and these multiplayer games. Either like I don't see how they can make 2 versions of a same game on 2 different consoles and have them play each other and run. Like you're gonna have to dumb a game down to the point where you can just release it on the old console. So
that's what I think is gonna happen.
Yeah. So the 360, they're gonna just build it on the 360. Port it over to all of the consoles, 720, PS4, PS3, Wii U.
Anything that goes into the new system is going to look better just because it's going to have DirectX 11 in it. So everything's just going to look better.
There's minuscule differences. But I think 2014, most third-party games are still going to be on current gen. 2015, I still think most games will be on the current gen. I think by the time you're at late 2015, that when they get their third holiday season, and then maybe they're starting to break that 25, 30 million, 35, 40 million, whatever they're at, then at that point we can say, all right, let's develop exclusively for these ones.
By that time, Nintendo would only be a year or 2 off from their next gen anyway. So
right. This is why I think Nintendo will be able to hold third. Well, at least this is what I thought. But now I'm worried why they're not.
People are pulling out already, and they shouldn't be.
Nintendo's burned so many bridges with third parties throughout the last 15 years. But they also have
a lot more incentives.
And now they're all like, "Why don't you guys want to work with us?" It's like you pissed everybody off the last fucking.
Right.
When everybody was switching to CDs that costed pennies to print your game on.
Yeah.
Nintendo was still like, no, buy this $30 cartridge. Then put your game on it and make half the profit you could on the PS1.
Yeah. Right.
Printing on a 3-cent CD.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know one of the incentives I saw that they put up for the Wii U for developers was that if you're going to release an update, like on PlayStation 3 on Sony and Xbox, you have to pay like something $1,000, right? It's like
it's not even worth.
It's why there's never been an update for like indie games such as what's the one the side scroller with time and whatnots. Braid, thank you. Where like they were saying there were a lot of big fixes they were going to put out for Braid, but they just can't afford to do it. So now I think that's why we're going to see a lot more indie developers going on the Wii U. But I think
How
it's
could
also an
Braid not
incentive.
afford that? I don't believe
I
that
don't
at
know,
all.
that's what they said.
He doesn't want it.
It doesn't make sense why you have to pay money to patch your game.
It really doesn't.
No, yeah, it doesn't.
It's
at all.
it's dumb. And-
You're not really taking up anything away from like the servers or anything like that. I mean,
Which is why I'm surprised you're not seeing more third-party games coming to the Wii U right now, because when they release those patches, that's just another cost that's cut. We'll have to pay to develop it, obviously, and all that, but that's just one other incentive that I think Nintendo's trying to, patch some of those
they're
bridges
trying to
up.
mend the stuff.
Right.
sounds like they're trying
It's
to
not
go
gonna
around
ha-
the
it's not gonna happen
PC
overnight.
free patches.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. You haven't talked to some of these guys in 15 years. You're not
True,
just going to
yeah.
overnight just be
Yeah.
like, oh, we're best friends again.
Tony's
Yeah.
going to end up slapping me.
He's waving his arms
Yeah.
around like.
He's like, he almost
Yeah.
jabbed me in the ribs. He was like,
Tony's
"There, over here."
Damn
I've noticed
Italians.
the whole day. You've been making hand gestures that nobody can see except for
Don't
us.
worry about it.
He's Italian.
He made fun of me last week for it. For the same thing. Because I did fake boobs and butt.
Yeah, because you were grabbing your boobs.
I
You're like, she has boobs.
Are you talking about Tomb Raider?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I think once the Wii U hits by next holiday, it's gonna probably crack 10 million units out there in the market. Once they release the Mario
Are you
and
talking about Christmas this year?
yeah,
I think it'll be way past that.
you think it'll
The Wii's going to fly off the shelves in the fall.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When it's already at like 6 million, isn't it?
I don't know the exact
Worldwide?
numbers, but point being, once it maybe doubles what it currently has by the end of the year, and they start getting these big first-party games, then when it has a more respectable fan base, I think, third parties will be like, maybe if we release our game, we can sell 300,000 units on it instead of 150,000, and maybe that's the breaking point where all these third parties jump on board.
With third-party development, it's getting so ridiculously expensive where it's like, it's almost at the point where if your studio's big enough, if you're not hitting 500,000-600,000 units, you're not even breaking money, or you're not even breaking even.
Well, these are ports, though. Not necessarily ports. It's the same architecture in the system, so you're just releasing your game on multiple
They're
systems.
at 3 million for Wii U, sorry.
3 million.
Yeah, I was looking it up too. I just got
That's
got
got to be North America. There's no way there's worldwide.
No, I think it's a
No.
little more than that. I don't know how.
There's no way.
What numbers are those?
The
for?
Vita has more sales than the
In-
Wii U.
in-
There's no way.
In January 11th, it was
The Vita's at
estimated
5.5
at 2.5 million, and they said estimated over 3 million by the end of January.
Yeah, that's about right.
So
That's-
they're
that's about
probably
right.
just over 3 million. now.
Really?
Yeah.
I think their goal was to ship 6 by the end of the fiscal year, which is March 31st. So
A little
whether
bit
they sell
behind,
that,
but
but
yeah.
I don't know if they'll sell that
Yeah.
many, but I think they'll
Even
come
the
with,
Wii's selling still pretty good still.
once they hit those first party
Gotta get those
major
first
titles.
persons.
I think a lot of it's that, and I know Nintendo doesn't want to, but I think everybody that was an early adopter of the 3DS is waiting because now they just assume every time Nintendo releases hardware and it's slow sailing, they're just going to price
Release an
drop.
apology
They're just going to price drop.
someday.
I think everybody's, even though
not-
Nintendo might not do it, I think everybody's just kind of like, well, we got burned with the 3DS. Let's see, because in 6 months they might knock off $100
But
bucks.
I've
Yeah.
been hearing they're not going to do that.
No, they
simply
said they
because they're
won't.
already selling at a loss, right?
I'm not saying Nintendo's.
Barely.
Right.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
one
Cost.
sale and they're good.
I'm not saying Nintendo's going to drop the price. I'm saying that might be a lot of people's mentality.
They actually directly responded to that and said they will not cut the price. Instead, their answer is we're going to release software. So that's why they had that Nintendo Direct we talked about, where they announced a Smash, a Mario Kart, Zelda Wii U, Pikmin, Wii U Fit.
Yeah. Wii
Wii U
U
Fit.
Fit.
We Fit You.
Yeah, that would be better.
What do you guys think? I haven't heard too much from you since then.
Angry Andy, you seem angry.
Why are you so mad?
This stuff is too complicated.
There's too many levels.
Yeah.
Nobody else cares? Everybody's-
I've been talking.
You don't care?
Jason?
I'm just listening and still, listening to everybody's points.
Processing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs a better processor. He's kind of old. He's really old.
Seems we have a lot of first-party games coming out this spring with Rising. Rising is multi-platform, actually, right? Metal
What is?
Gear Rising.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
multi-
multi-platform.
yeah.
Sly Cooper on the Xbox and PS3 the only exclusives that are coming out to like May or something were Sly Cooper and Gears.
Gears.
Then you're
Yeah.
gonna start getting like Last of Us and stuff like that.
Last of
later.
Us, God of War.
Later. And God of War was
Which
that's late March too.
The Ellen Page one's going to be exclusive, right?
Yeah,
Beyond
Beyond
Two
Souls.
Souls.
Beyond
That doesn't
Two
even-
Souls.
That might turn the next gen, dude.
I think it might be. I think that might be a launch.
If that game doesn't
Want
do
it now?
amazing, David Cage will be ripped by everyone in the industry.
If
Be-
what?
Beyond Two Souls is, I believe it's David Cage, and he's been ripping the entire industry for months now about how shitty games are. If that game doesn't do good, he's going to lose a lot of his reputation.
Well, it might be one of those split games, like Heavy Rain. That does not have universal appraise.
No,
Yeah,
I really liked it, but yeah, it
I
doesn't.
love it. I think
yeah,
it's one of the
it was
greatest
one of my
games
favorite
this
ones.
gen,
Yeah,
That
Everybody doesn't like it.
That game got legs.
It's one of those like Oscar-winning movie games. Like it's amazing.
Exactly.
The quality's there. If it was an award, like an actual accredited awards show, like it would just win fucking 10 Academy Awards and shit. But is it for everybody? Hell no. I mean, Lord of the Rings won 10 Academy Awards, but if you can find me, a room that 75% of them will like and watch the movie, no. 3 hours? I can't sit through that shit.
But Heavy Rain got legs late. I remember seeing a stat that like they only sold like 1.2 million copies of that game.
I didn't hear
But-
about it until like
5
It
million
was $20.
people, 5 million PlayStation Network accounts have trophies pinged for that game.
A lot of used sales.
Yeah.
A lot of friends.
Yeah.
borrowing.
They had a direct-
A lot of that
Or
word of
people
mouth thing
people just
where
like
it
this game
gained-
is great and they give it to all their friends.
they had a
gained-
director's cut come out too, which came out.
the move version.
I have a feeling it's
Yeah.
going to happen with All Stars. In all honesty, I think that it's
All
one of those
Stars
that
is getting big now.
Yeah, it's
Remember when it came
It had
out? They
that
gave us
slow
like
roll.
3 copies.
right.
And every store was selling out. Then they were finally like, "Here's 50."
Yeah, it had that slow roll, but like I feel like it's finally going to start garnering more and more support because I think it was one of those ones
It's
that
a
came
good
out
game.
right at the end. It was right at the end of when we had 50 fucking games come out within 4 weeks.
yeah,
So whenever
bad
you're at
timing.
the latter end of that, people have already spent all their money. So of course they're not going to be able to come here and
Far
buy
Cry
another
3.
$60 game.
Did you hear what happened to Killzone Mercenaries?
No, what happened?
That game came out because that game looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're coming out. I forget if it's September or
It's September.
September
17th.
17th. They announce it. The next day, Grand Theft Auto comes out, and they're like, we're delaying our game till September 17th.
No one's gonna buy that game.
That
Oh
game
my
is
God.
dead.
But I'm telling you, if that freaking Mercenaries game comes out and I play it and it ends up being shit, I'm throwing my Vita against the wall because there have been too many games I've been like, oh, this would be fun and awesome, and it'll finally justify my system purchase.
I love the Vita.
Which honestly, I think I've finally done. But like, if I just have one more big disappointment like that, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man.
Jumping out a window.
The
Keep the
Vita,
knives
the,
away.
the Vita.
Throat has a Vita on the edge. Talk me down. Talk me down.
Bring out like a little trampoline to catch it.
Fireman
Don't
on the
do it!
fireman down there. I'll get it. I'll get it.
No, it'll be what's his name, the commercial guy,
Kevin Butler.
Kevin Butler.
Kevin
Down
Butler.
there.
Don't get it. Don't get it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
I love the Vita. It's,
So,
it's one of the best purchases. It's the handheld I always wanted.
You're
My
getting
whole
all
life.
emotional
I
here.
love that thing. I love that thing. It sucks because I think it's dead in the water. I really do. It's going to have another
Well,
year of
I-
support or so.
I think my idea, have it come as the base controller. I think that'll work.
A little bit of a modification on it.
And if this thing fails, I think Sony's out of the handheld market, so you're only dedicated.
More cross-buy, for the love of God, do it.
I
Because
really
that-
don't think this will put them out because the
Yeah.
PSP was really successful. I think they'll take a one generation loss on
You
it.
think? I think this is it for. I don't even know if Nintendo will release another handheld.
Really?
No.
I think they will extend
Well,
this.
they have the Japan sales for mobiles are
but-
so good.
I think we are at the point where in 2013, the 3DS is only 2 years old. By the time we get to 2017, when the
What
new
else can they do?
It's
Game
I
Boy
mean,
Advance
I mean,
2.
they're gonna up-res it, and that's gonna be their big thing. I think.
Phones are
they
gonna be
can,
so
but
powerful
I
by
think
then.
99% of people are going to have smartphones by then. I don't know what the percentage is now,
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Do you remember when they
Not
were
sure.
gonna still come out with the Game Boy Advance 2? Like when they were saying that, oh, DS is just a experiment, and we still have the new Game Boy Advance in development, and it's gonna come out and it's gonna be awesome. And
I
DS is
remember
just our little. Oh yeah, there was like all. I remember reading all kinds of articles where they were just like, oh yeah, the DS is just like more of a prototype like side thing where it's like it's not the next Game Boy Advance. It's its own special thing, which really it was because it was the prototype Wii U. Is what it was.
We use basically a big ass.
It's a big.
When did that like mini come out? I forget what that was.
Oh,
The
the
micro.
micro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Like that was like 3 years after the DS was
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
I know it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I had a micro.
I did too.
I still think Nintendo might hang on. I agree
Yeah,
that
they might have
eventually.
another one.
I mean, the thing is, Nintendo will never offer their unless they go out of business or go the way of Sega.
Right.
There's no way you're ever going to be able to get your Mario's or Zeldas anywhere but there. So yeah, people have their cell phones, and the cell phones will be way more powerful than whatever Nintendo's next handheld is.
Right.
But if you want to play the new Pokemon, the new
Or Zelda.
Zelda,
Fire
the new Mario,
Emblem.
Or
you
the
have
old-
to go there.
Or the last generation Mario and Zelda, but on handheld form. That's what's going to happen because that's how they do that. Is like DS sold a lot because they had a 64 game, but it was handheld. Oh man, I can play 4-player Mario on my DS.
Here's my argument against exclusives: is did they not realize how much more money they would make? And I'm not even saying like the new shit. And I've said it plenty of times. Take the old NES games, put them on Android and iPhone for $1.
Oh yeah.
You know how much money they'd make?
Nintendo.
They're so worried about losing hardware.
Yeah, they think maybe 100 people buy, but for every 100 people that buy an NES game on an Android, they might lose 2 console sales.
No,
of which that might turn into 15 games
It's the exact opposite because the day that I got my iPhone, I sold my DS. I did.
But Nintendo does it to themselves. How can 3DS not go get pretty much every game before the GameCube on it digitally in the store? Why the hell was those 7 or 8 games that they gave away for the Advance, or what was it, the Advance for the
for the 3DS?
Why are the okay, fine,
those,
you did something nice for the early adopters, and I agree you should have did something nice for the early adopters. Well, there's no other Game Boy Advance games available on the entire 3DS market. What is wrong with you?
3DS owners would just spend buckets of money if they put Game Boy Advance download games on the 3DS. I would spend probably $100.
Why can't you go buy? Why can't you go buy like whatever Dr. Mario or some shit from back on the original Game Boy? Why can't you?
Oh well,
they don't even
they release them so slowly.
They don't even offer their own collection, let alone give it to Android or iOS to do it.
I understand the idea of spacing it out a little bit because you don't want to just throw out 100 games in one
week.
week.
Won't sell any because people will just buy the 2 or 3 top best ones.
Right? Yeah, but they haven't released any Game Boy Advance games.
Zero. And even the NES. Well, and then the virtual console releases have been so limited.
There's like 5 or 6 up right now.
And it's because they'll be like, oh, here's a NES game, and here's a original Game Boy Color game, which is fun and great, but the games that people want to play are the Advance games and the Super NES games.
They did announce that Game Boy Advance games are coming to the Wii U.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Either
you have a fucking handheld. Put the handheld games on the handheld.
Make some kind of universal thing for the virtual console because a virtual console game should be able to be downloaded on the 3DS or the Wii U and interchanged, kind of like with the Vita, how you can swap on your Vita PS3 so many PS1 games and so many PSP games, so on and so forth. But then we're getting the Nintendo territory again, where we're like, oh, sorry, you want to use your Pro Controller? But this pissed me off to no end. I wanted to play fucking New Super Mario Brothers Wii, right? Wii U. And I have the Pro Controller. But can I use the Pro Controller to play multiplayer? No! I have to have the original Wii controller.
Just to do multiplayer?
Because I can't use 2 buttons on the Pro Controller to jump.
But you can use it for single player.
I spent $50 on that controller, man!
You could use it for single player, though.
I don't care.
No, well, yes.
You could.
But here's the thing. Then you can't use the tablet. No. Do you still have to use the tablet for the single player? You couldn't use the Pro Controller at all.
Okay. I was just saying, if you could just do it for multiplayer, I was like, okay, that's just weird.
But why isn't it compatible? It's Mario. You got 12 buttons, and you need 2.
You know why? Dude, the whole world doesn't know what the fuck Nintendo's doing, except for those 200 or 300 people at headquarters. It makes
You're giving them a little too much credit. They don't even know what they're doing.
It doesn't make sense to anyone. Half the shit Nintendo does. But then they sell 100 million Wii's, and you're like, well, I guess they know more than I do.
Because Mario, you put the red hat on it, and people are like, shit, Mickey Mouse ears.
Dude, I do not get 90% of what that company does. I don't. But then you look at it, and you're like...
They keep recycling old ideas. Look,
They
you know how
are.
they had the Game & Watch with the 2 screens?
Yeah.
15 years later, the
Virtual
DS.
Boy.
Virtual Boy with the 3D, then the 3DS. Then they had the GameCube with the Game Boy Advance 2 controller
The,
port.
Wii, the,
Wii-
the whole
Glove in the
Wiimote
pad
was just the shooter,
They're the
but way
biggest-
more technically
They're
advanced.
the biggest idea recycling factory in the fucking
What was their last
here.
failure 15 years ago?
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy.
That's their only
Well,
failure.
well
That's
that
their
was the
only
3DS.
failure.
We already got that. No, we got the power.
So I mean the
glove.
GameCube controllers are coming
Now-
back. God
wait.
damn it!
I'm gonna tell you what their next innovation is gonna be.
Yay, C-Stick.
It's whatever type of advancement of the Super Scope, because that's all we're missing. Okay.
Exclusively for
And-
Wii.
Well, that's if the gamepad when they were showing that one game where you could scope. I'm like, what the fuck? Wait a minute.
Wait a
What are you
second.
talking about?
Something's
That shit-
clicking up
Yeah.
here.
Here comes
Fucking
the
Super Scope.
I've seen this
It's just gonna
before.
Here
have an
comes the
attachment.
Virtual Boy Wii U add-on where you just like click it on the freaking controller and you're whoop! Yeah!
Yeah,
Virtual reality!
Periscope.
Oh god.
Alright.
Yeah.
I want to cry.
I guess, does anybody want to throw anything else in there?
I just have a question that's been bothering me for a while.
By all
Just
means.
thought about it. What's up with the update that comes out on with games day of? What is that
Oh, for
update?
games like,
Okay,
like
but
when they-
the problem is they got to ship the games out to get them printed. That takes about a month. Usually games are getting printed 2 months before release. Like right now, the God of Wars are getting printed.
Gears
when
of
you
War
hear
just went
gold
last
means
week.
done and it's being shipped out and printed.
So now, there's another 3 weeks that the developers are like, oh shit.
We just found 500 more bugs.
So they're patching like crazy, and then Microsoft and Sony give you one free patch.
Yeah.
For 4
a lot
megabytes,
a lot of
No,
developers
that's what it is.
burn
It's
it.
limited to 4.
They burn it on day one because that game they spend the next 3 weeks fixing everything, and they'll release that one patch and get as much completed as they
Sometimes
can.
it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for Microsoft and Sony to look at the patch
And
to make
approve
sure
it.
it approves.
Yeah, because everything that goes through has to get approved.
That's
There's a
what's-
big strenuous.
That's one thing that happened with. I don't know if any of you guys played Darksiders 2. Steam doesn't
Yeah.
have any of this problem at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So
Steam gives you unlimited updates whenever you want.
right away too, and you can release stuff that's completely broken, I guess, because they don't track it. So
Yeah.
the patches for the 360 version of Darksiders 2 were always 3 weeks behind the Steam patches.
Yeah.
So I know like Darksiders was on the 3rd patch on Steam when the first patch was just coming
Same
out
thing
on
with like
360.
Skyrim and all these other ones that.
Like, what is this?
Are-
Why is
yeah.
it? Why is it so
Minecraft
backwards?
was one of the very few who actually worked it out where all of theirs are free. For the players, I don't know if they pay, but for the players, they're one of the few people who every update is actually free. And they were actually not going to come to Microsoft at all if they could not have that in their deal.
No, that's yeah.
Well, they're also kind of
Yeah.
printing money for Microsoft. a
Oh,
little
they
bit at this
are.
point.
That's why Microsoft was like, God damn it, okay.
I've gotten to the point where like I will wait and see these amazing Steam sales, and a lot of games that want to get on consoles but are on Steam, I end up like stockpiling all these games that
yeah.
right now I have no fucking time to play.
Oh, yeah.
Not even close. But I know that in the next year I plan on like building a PC that I'm just going to hook up to my TV anyway, and hook up a controller to it. And that's going to become basically my new console because when I want to play like Darksiders or something.
That's what they started. Valve already started that with, what is it, big screen?
Yeah.
Big screen mode.
Yeah, big screen mode. That
It's
thing
so
is
unnecessary,
meant
though.
for a TV.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unnecessary. Mine worked the same beforehand.
No, I know. I was fine without it, but like for some people where they just want to hook it up to a TV and run it as a console, they're eventually
That's how I use mine. Yeah.
they're eventually going to get support for probably all the major apps that you can start downloading. I mean, they just
can't
they just
wait. I might-
implemented the software so they can buy software through Valve. Apps is definitely going to be next. I mean, Gabe Newell's thinking ahead.
I can't wait. I might actually turn
Screw
on
that
my super.
You won't give me
PC
Half-Life
once in a
3.
while.
He didn't like Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh, well, he's a smart man, apparently. Then
No.
The game was awful.
Dynasty Warriors 7.
I know you like it.
now with
I'm
naked cheerleader.
That
roles.
was another game where I honestly felt a little molested after a couple hours. I was like, things are
The
saying
least-
to me.
The
God!
least you could have done, Tony, is got the achievement for looking up her skirt.
It's an achievement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
They got Johnny Urine behind that from Mind the Self-Indulgence, and I think he probably helped
That's
out
not
a
even the
little
most disgraceful achievement I've ever seen. That it goes hands down to Duke Nukem, where
I was gonna say, there's-
you open a toilet and
Yeah.
you grab a piece of shit, and it's called turd burglar.
Was it charming? Was it charming?
How do you guys not
Was
know
it
about
charming
it?
as
Made
shit?
his achievement.
You
you
know
know,
what
like-
like,
No.
you can get in the first 3 minutes because don't play the rest of the game because it's awful. Just get
Just
that.
get the one achievement so
I
one guy
haven't
goes
looked
back
at
and
the
sees
game
called
your
Turd
turd
Burger.
burglar.
It's
And
so
when
bad.
Do you
when
still
it
have
came
Duke
out,
Nukem?
I was like working at
Bring it
Camp or
over, I
something,
want
so I
that
was far
achievement.
away from technology.
Stops the game after
but
that.
then by the time I got back from camp, this is like a 5-month period when it came out, and then I got home and I didn't have a chance to play it the whole time.
There's already $3.
A month
brand
later,
new.
it was like $5 freaking bucks.
And you're like,
I'm
this game is
clearly, I need to spend the $5 and not play it. But I kind of want to now just to get that achievement.
Turd burglar.
Turd Burger.
Yes.
Turd burglar.
You get it within 5 minutes.
From a football stadium.
Anybody else have anything they wanted to add to the exclusive chat?
Happy birthday.
I was going to say, on behalf of us three, thank you guys for joining us for our 1-year celebration.
Most
we do
you
appreciate
suck.
it.
Mostly you.
Tyler. Andy looks angry.
He's just angry. I'm not gonna say he sucks. He's gonna kill me.
And for everybody out there, thanks for keeping up with us all year. And like Jason addressed earlier, thanks for sending in all the comments and questions and all the likes on Facebook and everything. We appreciate every single one of them.
Yeah. And you get to listen to Jason. Jason's like 43 nowadays.
Fuck you.
And he's still like relevant. Like he's like your grandfather
He's
who
still
still plays
gaming.
games.
He's the same age as me.
Nah, he's not. Nah, he's not. Tony's got like at least 10 years on you. You're like 40. He's in the 30s. I'll take the 20-year-olds. We all speak for you. So old. I mean, you should have seen. He posted photos to Facebook. They were in black and white. Black
You're
and
the
white.
only black and white one. He made me look like a disco dancer.
No.
Chicago.
Nah, he's got Chicago pictures, and there's like old, like, I don't know, taxi cabs and stuff. I don't even know. They were in black and white, and they were old cars. And that you see Jason there with the thumbs up, looking all cool with his
It's a Facebook
leather
fan page
jacket.
for,
Oh, did he start that? The whole thumbs
Yeah,
up thing?
he's got in the photo. I swear he was saying, "Hey."
It was like
That's
first
what the
one.
little thought bubble said.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was going on.
What?
You're so old.
All right, on that note. Thanks once again, everybody, for tuning in. This has been episode 53. Catch you guys next week, same time, same place.
Bye.
Trying to talk to you in high school. Couldn't even get a look cause you were too cool. But now we're older and we're playing by the new rules. We lived and learned. Cause as time moves on, we find we belong. And then in the end, we were the ones you used to make fun of. We stayed at home alone instead of falling in love. We never got the chance to be drunk. We didn't even dance, but here's the thing. We got the cars, we got the money. We need some sun, but I'm telling you, honey, that the geeks will. Geeks will. We will inherit the earth. The geeks will inherit the earth. The geeks will. We will inherit the earth.
The geeks will inherit the earth.
Everybody tries to tell you that you're different, so you run away and wonder if it makes sense. But the day will come when you will get a new chance. The tables turn, and you know you'll be much more than they see. In time, you'll find we were the ones you used to make fun of. We stayed at home alone instead of falling in love. Never got the chance to be drunken. We didn't even dance, but here's the thing. We got the cars, we got the money. We need some sun, but I'm telling you, honey, that the geeks will. Geeks will. We will inherit the earth. The geeks will inherit the earth. The geeks will. We will inherit the earth.
The geeks will inherit